go. Let me go ahead and kill that. All right, it's coming up, and we're going to get the dual audio here for a second. All right.
There we go, you're live.
Yep, we are live. There we go. And let me pause that so it doesn't hang everything up. Okay, everybody, we're live on YouTube. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet, and tonight we are going to be deep diving into a couple of great topics, and then we're going to also tell you about what we're going to be doing next week too. But I got KM4OVZ in with me tonight, and we are going to be deep diving SSTV. And we are also going to be deep diving NOAA satellite reception. And we're actually going to show you how with a few parts from Home Depot, how you can go ahead and build yourself an antenna that will pick up these satellite images as the satellites pass over. We're going to go through all that tonight. But a special thanks to Joseph. He's worked with me all week on this, and he is co-hosting with me tonight. I want to go through each slide. Each of us will take a shot at it. There's parts of this that he knows a lot more than I do about it. There's parts of this you may know a lot more than I do about it. So if you know something, pipe up. If I screw something up, pipe up. I'm not giving points for that, of course, but it's good though. Let me know. All right. So anyway, there we go. Tonight like I said, we've got two topics tonight, and these are two that I've been looking forward to doing. And like I said, we've had some time this week, so it's been really good. I want to announce right off the top, we've got our membership drive going on right now for the Southwest Florida Tech Group, the tech team. If you want to fill out that, you just give me like 4 pieces of information. It doesn't cost anything. I'm just looking for people that want to help me get this started. But if you want to do that, just hit the big blue button there on the same page you came to come to this net tonight on our main page. All right, that's about it for the announcements, I believe. We do have Summer Field Day coming up, and we'll be mentioning that towards the end. All right, let me get this going here. All right, get that switched over. All right, we've got a lot to go over tonight. So I think the best thing we probably can do tonight is literally just jump right into it. Oh, I never turned my camera on. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I'm so bad at this when I'm doing everything myself. There we go. All right. So anyway, tonight last week, if you remember last week, we did the sounds of ham radio. Well, this week we're doing the sights of ham radio, and we're going to be doing SSTV or slow scan TV. And we're also going to be talking about some satellite reception as well. We're going to talk about slow scan TV. Slow scan TV is a really cool thing. And we're going to take a few minutes to talk about where it came from and how it started. And then we're going to go to the NOAA weather satellites. This is something you can do from home. It's something that you can publish to a website. It's something that you can have waiting for you when you come home from work, sitting on your computer, actual maps directly from the NOAA satellite. And you know what's really cool about this? When the hurricane hits and the internet goes out, this still works. So as long as you can put your antenna up after a hurricane, every hour or so, 2 hours, there's one of these passovers going on, and you'll get a set of local maps that are local. They'll show your regional area. And that can be very helpful if you're in a hurricane and everything's gone down. So if you're the kind of person that wants to be ready for everything, I think this is a must, because all we're talking about is an antenna, a pretty standard receiver, a little mini receiver, and the right kind of antenna. We're not talking about a whole lot of equipment here, so we're going to get to that. And then we're also going to talk about that little piece of equipment, that software-defined radio. And Joseph's going to go into some detail about those, because if you haven't played with one yet, they're an amazing thing. And there's a little teeny bit of a learning curve, and I got mine, plugged it into the computer, didn't know what I was doing, and ended up throwing it in the box because I didn't think it worked right, and I didn't know what I was doing. So it's one of those things where you got to ask a ham, make sure you didn't screw something up. And then finally, we're going to do ham radio news and updates, because we always do ham radio news and updates. And then next week, Joseph and I are going to be co-hosting again. And next week, we're going to do geosynchronous satellites We're going to show you another group of satellites that show you wider shots, full disk shots of the Earth. And these send back signals that are available on different frequencies with different kinds of antennas. And we're going to get into all that next week. So that's next week on the TechNet. We're doing geosynchronous weather satellites. And then we're going to start our deep dive into FL Digi. And we may not get through the whole thing in one night, but we are definitely going to at least start, if not finish, the deep dive into FL Digi, which I used for the first time last night on a really cool net that I discovered. It doesn't seem to be advertised anywhere, and we're going to be talking about that. Slow Scan TV is where we're going to start tonight. And Joseph, any words you want to start with for us before we dive into the first slide here?
Slow Scan TV is really cool. It's really interesting. I think y'all like this. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Was there a bad audio?
No, it's okay. I can hear you fine. It was just a little bit of an echo, but it might have been my system here. Okay, let's see here. Does anybody else have any quick comments before we get started? Not getting into any of the technology, because we're going to, trust me, we're going to go all the way through it. But does anybody have any real quick general comments about Slow Scan TV before we get started? Lively bunch tonight. Okay, here we go. What is SSTV? Well, it's an image transmission mode using audio tones. It's very similar to like a fax machine. And it basically sends back these small postage stamp size pictures that range anywhere from 120 by 120 up to about 320 by 256. The times vary depending on what mode. If you're in a contest mode, it could be a matter of 10 seconds. If sending a really grainy black and white crap picture, or if you guys are, on a repeater like we were last night, we were using some better modes last night and actually sending some pretty nice looking pictures back and forth over the repeater until it started going I don't know what's wrong with that repeater down there in Estero. I don't know. It must be a big frog down there that makes that noise all the time. But anyway, it takes up 3 kilohertz of bandwidth. That's why SSTV actually operates in the sideband modes. And when you're looking at this on the waterfall, it's a little different than FT8, but kind of the same. You know how on FT8 and on the other modes, we put our cursor somewhere so that we don't walk on somebody else's transmission. Well, this is the same way. We just got to be really particular here to go in 3 kilobyte swaths. Okay. SSTV has been around since 1958. It started out with surplus radar display tubes. What they would do is they would actually shoot light on this material, this phosphorus material, that would actually show the light over a period of time so that the image could be recorded. And that's really cool. And then they would use spot scanners to record that into a tape, which could be stored and then could be somehow displayed later. Crazy stuff, if you ask me. And then here's a little bit of it. I don't want to get too deep into this, but this is kind of the history of it. It was first commercially available in 75. In 76, they made the first one that was actually combined in the same unit that would transmit and receive. And in 78, the first color and high resolution one started coming out. But the really big stuff didn't happen until 1995, when SSTV was available for the first time in a program called Charlie on Windows. And that's when it finally became actually popular, because you didn't need a special piece of equipment just to do this. And then, of course, Windows 95 and Windows 98 software came out, and then a later version came out of that. Slow Scan is sending an audio signal with the information embedded. Like I said, it's similar to a fax. It's for fast scan. Now, when we talk about TV, I know you're thinking, why do we call it TV? Well, why do we call phone phone? It's not a phone. It's one of those weird things. It's tradition. It's what it's called. It's a version of TV. It's a slow scan television. When you talk about regular television, or what we call today television, broadcast television, that's broadcast over a much wider swath of bandwidth. And it's done much differently. Tonight we'll be talking only about slow scan TV. All right, I'm going to fly through this. You know how in ham radio there's always the etiquette that they tell you to do, and then there's the etiquette that everybody does. Well, this is one of those double stories here. The etiquette is, and this is the etiquette. The etiquette is you're supposed to get on their like phone and call somebody and ask them, "Hey, you want my picture?" And then you send the picture to them. And then you say, "Okay, did you get my picture? Okay, it looks great. All right, I'll send you another one. Okay, here it comes." And then you send it back. That seems kind of contrary to calling CQ to me, but that's how you do it. So basically, it's kind of like phone with pictures. I've also been told by 5 people so far, "Oh, that's not how you do it. That's all a bunch of crap. Nobody does it that way." So I'm letting you know this is the way that it says to do it, that ARRL and the official sources out there, if there is such a thing, say this is what you're supposed to do. But I'm not going to come out and be the Karen here and tell you this is how you got to do it, because I hear it's not done this way. So I'm just telling you that's the way that it's supposed to be done. Apparently, you're supposed to, like you would any, CQ into a conversation, and then ask if you want to do the TV back and forth. And of course, you would go to the right frequencies, and we'll get to that in just a minute. These are your main 3 calling frequencies there. There's 3 of them. We're going to get to more of them here in just a minute. When you do send a picture, make sure, like you said, the 3 kilohertz spacing, and be original about your pictures. You know, there's a lot of rules of thumb on this. There's a lot of people that send cartoon pictures, a lot of people that send vintage pictures. I've seen a wide range of pictures. Okay. And all I can say is be creative. There's no wrong pictures unless they're pornography. Those are wrong pictures. Other than that, everything else is fair game pretty much. I haven't heard of like any licensing problems or anything. Everybody sends back pictures of The Simpsons and South Park and everything else. There's been a lot of pictures this last week of Statue of Liberty and flags. And, you know, I've been picking up, I leave my radio sometimes overnight on 20 meters or 40 meters. And every now and then I'll wake up in the morning and get a few pictures. So you can do that too. And we'll get into that in a few minutes. Here's your freaks. You got to go to the right frequencies to find folks. Remember what I always tell you guys, if you want to play with friends, you got to go to a room that have people in it. And that's kind of what we got here. You got to find people. I know with 14.230, I've never heard anybody on 233, but that's kind of where you take somebody to. Like if you call somebody, you're supposed to call somebody on 30 and say, "Hey man, you want to send pictures? Hey, yeah, sounds like fun. Let's go to 33." That's how I understand it. All right, Joseph, anything so far?
Yeah, it's just that I haven't heard of anybody. In general, they just kind of stick to the calling frequency, and if you just leave your radio running overnight, you may discover you have a string of 4 or 5 pictures of the same people calling back and forth to each other, which is pretty cool. They'll have like a little preview of the received picture, giving each other signal reports and stuff. So the main frequencies are the calling frequencies, and it seems everybody pretty much sticks to that. So yeah, pop your radio on that and just let it run overnight. You'll probably have something in the morning.
Yeah, and you can do that if you want to play with this and just literally you just literally, oh crap, I picked the wrong one. Hold on. If you just want to play with it and see what you can get, what you can do is you can download the device on your phone, and we're going to get to that here in just a minute. Hold on, I got to switch audio here. Can you guys? I don't think that's right.
I hear you okay.
Yeah, except there we go. Okay, now I got you. All right. Had to do it another way. Couldn't do it that way no more. Okay, there we go. All right. I couldn't hear you. I can't, when I do it that way, I can hear myself in the mix minus, but then I can't hear you guys that well, and it's just not working. And everything's echoey and it's trashy. All right. Does anybody have any questions for either one of us or anything up till now that we can discuss?
Is my audio echoey?
Are you guys hearing an echo with him as well, or is it just me?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, we're hearing echo.
Are you running 2 versions of this at the same time? I had that happen to me. I had 2 versions of Zoom up, and I had the double voice.
Yeah, it could
No,
be.
That's so weird.
You're coming in real hot. You might
Yeah,
want to turn your mic down a little bit.
It's almost like there's 2 instances running. That could,
Hold on. Okay. Is it still happening after I turn that off?
Yes.
What?
It's almost as if you're listening to yourself through your sound card.
That shouldn't be happening.
Oh, it's gone away now.
I unplugged the webcam.
Okay, so it's you're getting audio from your webcam.
It should have been only the mic. All right, well, I'll just leave that unplugged then. Worry about that later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're doing most of this on Zoom anyway. All right, back to the frequencies. Did you want to tell us something about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, just that if you pop your radio on one of these frequencies, I've noticed that 14.230 has been the most active in the hours of around 10 a.m. and in the evening around 9 to 10 p.m. The other frequencies, not so much. I've monitored 40 meters, I've monitored 80, I've monitored all of them, and I've only really gotten pictures from 14 meters in the morning, early afternoon hours and the late afternoon hours on 20 meters. I have gotten a picture on 80 meters, but there was nothing. I let it run all night and I got nothing. But 20 meters actually is pretty active. If you have your antenna up and you turn on the software, I get like almost a picture every minute parked on 20 meters during around 11:10 p.m. Sorry, 11:10 a.m. So yeah, 14 megahertz seems to be where it's at for SSTV right now.
Yeah, that's been my experience too. For the last week, I've had this running a lot in the shack, so I could tell you guys, what I was able to hear. The only pictures I was able to get off HF were on 14.230. I left it overnight on 40. I left it overnight on 80. I got nothing. I left it overnight on 14.230. I wake up, I've got some grainy pictures to look at. So that's it. I haven't tried 1510 or 2 overnight or anything like that. When the Magic Band opened up, I actually tried on the one for 6 meters. There's actually a frequency for 6, but I didn't hear anything on there. All right, let's see here. A little more about the frequencies. You can see there that there's different calling frequencies for each one. There's a couple of frequencies they want you to stay off of. I don't understand that, but there's a DX phone net on 14.227 that they made a big deal about on 2 or 3 different websites I went to. And just remember that 80% of all SSTV traffic is done on these frequencies. If you go there, don't go up halfway. Go all the way on 3 kilohertz spacing. Anyway, that's all there is there. There's your program. If you guys have not done this, that's your program. It's MMSSTV space download. That's all you have to type or download, whatever. Boom, it'll come up. Download it. It's free. Everybody got that? Okay. Real quick, I'm going to run through this. I want you guys to see this. I'm going to go real quick through this because you can go back and play this over again in YouTube as much as you want. There's also better tutorials, I'm going to admit it, on YouTube that probably go more into depth than I'm going to go tonight. So anyway, when you first get this thing, this is how you find your main setting screen. I don't know if you've noticed, every one of these programs hides the main setting screen under a different tab and under a different name. Thank you, developers. What the hell? I mean, why can't it just be under Windows and then settings or something simple like that? But it's not. Under this one, it's under options because it's an option on this program. And then you go to setup MMSSTV and you click that and it'll bring up this dialog screen. Everything you pretty much need to set up is on that one square, 3 tabs. That's it. You're going to select the TX tab. You're going to fill in your call sign. Click on CW to permit identification. You want to do that. That sends your little identifier after your picture and technically makes it legal if you're not using voice, I guess, is what I'm told. Use default settings for everything else. That's pretty much it. Click OK when you're done. There's just not a lot to do. Now, when you get in here, over here on the left is your main window. This is either your window where you're receiving, you're looking through what you've received, you're transmitting, or you're setting up a transmit template. So whatever tab you're on here is what this window is doing. And when you click these tabs, these buttons down here will change because you're doing different things. In the middle here is your mode selection. You can right click on one of these and reassign it. There's actually about 30 or 40 different modes. You can right click on any of these modes that you don't want anymore and reassign that button to a different mode. It's pretty cool. Over here's your waterfall. Works pretty much like a standard waterfall, except it's so small and it sucks. Hey, I tell it like it is, dude. You know what I mean? BW, there's for contests, there's some black and white modes for contests that go really, really fast. And like I said, there's some higher definition modes. You can put the QSO information in here. If the other person turned on that identifier that I just told you about, you'll get, this will fill in automatically. If they didn't, then you'll need to put their information in here, at least their call sign, so that you can log them down, so that it will, log in your logbook. Okay, and then down here at the bottom, there is where your pictures go, where your templates go, and I'll show you all that here in just a minute. All right, real quick going on. You're going to listen patiently for a distinctive sound. You'll hear the sound come up, and then the scope will help you center it. If you're centered on 3 kilohertz spacing, it should, if you're on the right frequency on your radio, it should be okay the way it is. Anyway, the image will appear. The moment you get a lock, this bar right here will turn green, and it will stay green as long as you've got a lock. It'll be gray when you don't have a lock. Okay, when you're here in this screen here, this is where you would select your picture. You got something, Joseph?
I do not.
Oh, okay. All right. Does somebody have something? Want me to stop? Okay, I'm going to show you a little more detail in a minute. Use the sliders here. You can click this button right here. This just shows you can click that button, and you can adjust the picture. You can bring up the contrast and the sharpness, and then you click OK when you're done. And then lastly, you can go to your template tab, and you can move around these things so that they'll fit around whatever's in your picture and make your picture and your template match. And that's how that works. They're a little more complicated if you want to start changing the words around in your template. There's a way to do that, and that's all right here. Under text and colors, you would click those buttons there to get to that. I'm not going to get into it too much because that's something you just need to play with. A signal report, we're all used to that, right? Everybody's 5'9". 9. I've never understood why when we're contesting, everybody's 5'9". But anyway, in SSTV, there's your signal strength is 5'9", and then your video is a 5-point scale as well. So it's 595 is a perfect picture. All right, SSTV is a pretty high duty cycle. You got to remember, if you're selecting a 2-minute picture, your transmitter's running for 2 minutes. So you may want to watch your heat. You want that CW identifier after your picture. I showed you how to do that. Cut power. Remember, with digital modes, you do not want to send too much audio volume into your radio, okay? Too much is just as bad as not enough with digital modes. It's not like the CB where if you just yell louder, they'll hear you. Do not use audio compression at all. Turn it off on your radio. You'll get better results with no audio compression. You want your computer to hear as raw a signal as you can get. Listen and be patient. You got to do that's with anything except FT8. SSTV contests are listed in QST. You can find those anywhere you find your contests. I haven't done one yet. I'm going to try one though. And of course, if you're contesting, you want to use one of those quick modes. Okay, does anybody, Joseph or anybody, have anything at this point?
I do not.
Just want to mention SSTV this is for everybody out there. This would be a great thing to get people interested. Next time we do a youth group or scouts or something, instead of just talking, we need to send SSTV pictures back and forth to somebody. Let me tell you what, to a kid, this has got to be more interesting than you talking to somebody on your desk mic. So I'm just I'm throwing it out there, guys, because I'm always looking for ways to get more people in the hobby. I don't care. 8 to 80, walks, wiggles, or crawls. We got to get them in here. So I'm just trying to figure out some way to get it. And I'm thinking if they're young, a visual medium matched with an audio medium, hey, can't go wrong with that. You know, I could go on, but I won't. Okay. Anyway, but you see it all there. I think it would be a great thing. There's an app. Do we know the name of it, or is there more than one? Is that why I don't really have a name?
On the iPhone, if you just go into the App Store and search SSTV, there's an app in there that looks like a TV calibration, with the colors and stuff when there's no signal. And the app name is just SSTV. As far as I know, it costs like $5, I think, on the phone. That's on iPhone. For Android, there's an app called Robot 32, I think, or Robot 36. It's literally named after a mode, but so there's an app for Android. It's called Robot 36, and that's how you get it. And you can just hold the the app is called Robot 36 on the Android Play Store. You just hold your phone microphone near the radio speaker, and these apps usually operate pretty good with automatic mode selection, and they can even transmit too. So you could take a picture and then hold your phone speaker right up to your radio microphone, and then just use that if you don't want to set up a computer application. So there's one for both iOS and Android, and they work pretty well. I have both of them, and I've used them, and they work pretty good.
I want to clarify, guys. You don't need your radio hooked up to your computer to do this. If you want to play with it right now, tonight, tune your radio to 145 500. We're going to be doing a demonstration here in just a few minutes between North Fort Myers and Buckingham. We're on the Omni antennas. You guys should be able to pick us up. If you've got the program or the app, put the app up to the radio speaker. If you've got the program, turn the program on and get it ready. And we'll be coming back to that in just a few minutes. That's 145 500 simplex no tone. And by the way, that is the SSTV calling frequency for 2 meters. It'll be on FM too, by the way. All right. Get involved. I found a great bunch of guys last night. Didn't we, Joseph?
Sure, we did. Yeah.
They were great. They helped us get started. I told the guy, I said, look, I'm not going to take up your time with FL Digi because I don't know how to use it. He goes, go up to the top, click these 2 buttons, go down here, click this button, go down here, click this, put your call sign in there. Now type something. I'm like, okay. And I was working it. It was great. So like literally he taught me FL Digi in 1 repeater cycle on the radio. So not a bad learning curve. So we're going to do that next week. So that's FL Digi. But on that net, I don't know if it has a name or if it's affiliated with a club. I don't know much about it. I probably should have asked these guys. But the guy that runs it is Mark, AC4Z Mike. And he's a great guy. They were all real nice, very helpful on there. We sent pictures back and forth. We would all see each other's pictures. Other than that repeater down there, the 820 repeater has this horrible noise that starts inexplicably. I think it's interference from the other coast, if I had to guess. Because if you go and listen to it with an open PL, with a big antenna, and you face it over towards West Palm, you can hear another station. So I'm afraid it's probably interference. Anyway, let's not talk about that. This net is on at 8 o'clock on Thursday nights. They start out with FT Digi. They send a couple messages. Everybody sends them around. You can do preform messages. You can send ICS forms. You can do however you want to do it to practice. It's a practice net. And then they switch over to SSTV, and each person talks on the voice and says, okay, you're ready for mine. Okay, here it goes. Boom. And they send their picture. Okay, I got your picture. Okay, next person. And they go around. Great net. I just want to say it's great to find another group of guys that we can interact with every week and practice with some different modes and do some different things. So I'll try to get more information on this net and talk about it again here in the next few weeks. But like I said, at first blush, I'll be going back. It was a great net. SSTV from the ISS. I starting to sound like the GOV with all these acronyms. You know what I mean? But anyway, if you're interested, the SSTV actually from time to time, and we'll be talking about one of those times here in just a minute, won't we, John? But from time to time, the SSTV actually, the ISS, I'm getting my acronyms mixed up. The ISS will actually send down SSTV. I believe they do it through one of the Russian guys does it, or transmitters or whatever. But they send down images, and as it flies over, all you have to do is be monitoring this frequency, and I believe it's 2 meters, and you can hear these signals. There's nothing they're broadcast to the amateurs, so there's nothing special about them. You should be able to get them no problem. From what I understand, if you got a decent Omni that's up 20 feet or so, you should be able to get this every time it goes over. You should be able to get a picture or three. This is something, again, that we all can do. Is actually do it. You can actually record it. Let's say I do this on a computer, but I'm using it for something else. You can literally record the image as the space station goes over and then play it back into your computer later and get the image. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to actually do it live. You can record it and then play it back later for your computer. You can use a handy talkie to receive this. You're going to need a decent antenna hooked up to it, but you can use a handy talkie. Do what?
Funny thing was, last time the International Space Station was doing their pictures, I was out in the front yard with a beam I had constructed to get these pictures, and I had my Baofeng handheld with a stock antenna sitting on the ground, like in the dirt, just sitting there. And as the station came up overhead, I got a loud signal coming out of the handheld, and I actually had to turn it off because I couldn't tell how good my main signal was doing on the beam because the handheld had such a good signal as well. So
wow.
Yeah, you can use just a normal old handheld, you know, if you got a balcony or something, or you can you don't even need a ladder. You just stand in your yard, and yeah, a handheld picks it up fine. You can just hold your phone up to it. It's surprisingly easy to get that signal from the International Space Station.
The best way to do it is with your software-defined radio for $27 from Amazon, and we'll discuss that here in just a few minutes. But first, John sent me an email yesterday and informed me of this, and I'm so glad that he did, because you know what? This is going on right now. It starts in just a few days on the 21st, in 3 days. The International Space Station is going to start broadcasting pictures down to us on, I shouldn't use the B word. They're sending images down to us on amateur radio, and we'll be able to pick them up on 145 800 in FM. And it uses a mode that your MMSS TV will decode. So if you download this and it's working, and you and somebody can send pictures back and forth, all you now have to do is just tune your damn radio into that frequency, and you get these pictures from the ISS. It really is that simple. That's what's really cool about this. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this so far? Okay. Either I'm doing a really good job or you're all asleep. All right, tracking the ISS. Well, you got to know where it is, okay? So this is a pretty good program. There's a bunch of different sites. But this one, they have a program you can download or you can use it online. But this is the one I found that I use. But there's also a bunch of other ones out there. So just go pick and find one if you don't like this one. This one, just put in AMSAT ISS, and it will come up first in your search results. You don't need to download anything. You can use it right online. And you know what's neat about this one? You don't even have to know your Latin lawn. You can put in your grid. If you know your grid from contesting, you can just put that in. I thought that was pretty convenient. Anyway, all right. Wow, are we there already? Okay. So we're going to do a live demonstration now on 145 500. So if there's anybody, if you're within 20 miles or so of North Fort Myers or Buckingham, and we're going to actually send back and forth a couple of pictures to show you guys how to do this. All right.
Hey,
So,
Ian,
yeah.
just a quick comment.
Yeah.
You really don't have to track the space station. I just leave my radio on and the software on when I go to work or when I go to bed and turn the volume down, and I get home or get up in the morning and voila, I have pictures.
There you go. You're absolutely correct. I'm just OCD like that. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. You could literally have software defined radios listening to different channels, collecting pictures from different ways and different places all at the same time. It's pretty neat. I like SSTV because you're not broadcasting anything, you're just receiving, and it'll sit there and do it all night long. And then when you get up, there's those pictures are all stacked there and you can look through them. It's kind of like really cool. All right, so let's let me switch this here. All right, this is the program. This is MMSSTV, and if you don't have it, download it. I'll tell you how simple this is. You can download this into your computer and literally take your microphone from your computer and hold it up to the speaker on the radio and vice versa. And I know that's cumbersome and a pain in the butt, but you actually could do this way, what I call the acoustic couple. And it works. There obviously will be a little more artifact in the picture, but it will still be readable. It'll still be good, and you can still participate. That's the main thing. All right, so you can right-click on your screen here. There's a bunch of menu items right there. Joseph, wasn't there something we had to do right here? We wanted to go ahead and click that auto stop.
Auto resync should be turned on, and auto slant adjustment should be turned on, and auto stop should be turned off.
Right. You guys see that? When it comes, this is not the way it comes from the factory. So you want to set it to this way here. Auto stop. If the signal gets broken for a moment, the picture will give up. And you don't want that. You want it to keep trying through the end of the picture. So you want to turn that off. Auto restart, auto resync, and auto slant adjustment. You want all those on. And then pretty much everything else is default, I think, on there. This is how you can, if you want to clear your picture, you can clear it with that. Notice I got my tabs up here. These are basically my action tabs for that square. What do I want to do with this square? If I want to see what I'm receiving, I leave it in RX. If I want to see a history of what I received, I can go here and I can scroll back and I can look at the different pictures that I've received. These were the ones I got last night off the net. These are some that came in. There's one from KC4RAC and WG4K. And there's one from the Statue of Liberty. You can see people send all kinds of different stuff. There's the Statue of Liberty's foot. Yeah. But I got all kinds of ones in here. There's a bunch of ones that we did sending stuff back and forth. That's a Porta-John, just in case. But anyway, there you go. These are some ones I picked up like overnight in the middle of the night. This is what they look like. Some of them are really bad. I can't even tell what they are. That looks like a mullet, but I can't tell for sure. But yeah, these are the ones I'm getting in the middle of the night. Good luck figuring these out. There's some other ones here. There's one Joseph sent me. That's his new bicycle he just got right there. But yeah, just to give you an idea of what some people have sent, you know. And then your TX button, this is where you put together your picture. So what I would do is I go down here to these tabs and I select the picture that I want to send. Let's say I want to send a picture of something, okay? I picked the Enterprise, so I'm going to click that. These are some pictures I took at the Smithsonian of the actual model from the 60s TV show that was actually used in the shooting. And it's the only ship or spacecraft in the Smithsonian Museum, Air and Space Museum, that's not real. Then you click your template tab. See right there? There's your templates. Boom. And you pick which template you want. If I want this one, I can pick a template. Notice these pictures that are in the template? These are really cool. These actually will put in the last picture you received. Now, I want to show you guys a little funny thing I did with that. I took a picture of my cat, Snotties, right? And then that was her working on the quick reference guide. And then I take this template and I replace the screen with the last picture that I received. Isn't that cool? So I can select whatever picture I select here. Okay, I can select that picture. And then when I go back to here, it puts that picture in there. So if you send me a picture, and we're going to do this in just a minute, it'll send you back that picture. So I'm going to send him this picture right now. It's ready to go. I've got everything I need on it. So all I got to do now is click TX. And then, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Anybody at home, if you're within range, you should also hear this. I am at 90 watts. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me. And I'm doing this in Robot 36. Notice when you do Robot 36, it kind of chopped the top of the image off. I don't like that, but it does do that. Notice the line going down. The line tells you what is actually going out.
Nothing is going out. Nothing is going out. I'm not getting any signal.
Oh yeah, it's not. Oh crap. Who knows?
You're not transmitting.
Likewise, I'm not receiving you, Ian, and boy, I should be.
Yeah, he's not. You're not transmitting.
Whatever. No matter how much I test something, it doesn't work when I need it. Hold on.
Make sure you
That's weird. It's like it's not even trying. All right, why don't let me turn that off for a second. Why don't you send a picture out so they can see that, and then I will, while you're doing that, I'll reset my sound card.
All right. I'm going to be transmitting in Scotty 1 as my mode. So here we go. I have keyed up, and I should be transmitting.
Yep, I'm receiving.
Perfect.
It really doesn't matter if I transmit. It's just so they can see you sending something to me. They can't see what I'm sending to you anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, I want you guys to notice that my signal level's a little low, but it's not really.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not making any difference, so I'm not going to mess with it. But notice right here, the green indicates that we have a signal lock. And as long as that stays green, we are receiving, that we're locked in with that image. Is there anybody else that's able to receive that?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
He's not breaking my squelch here. So.
I'm running 35 watts. I'm on high power. Oh no, it stopped. Why did it stop? Don't know what happened there. There's a little bit of noise in that.
Yeah, that's probably on my end. Yeah, that's on my end.
It's gone.
No, that's on my. I did that. I'm trying to switch my radio around here.
Oh. there you have it. That was one image.
Yeah, I'm just not going to send anything because I don't want to screw. Yeah, that got screwed up because I was messing with wires. So let's just that was my fault. So why don't you send another one here?
Okay.
Now I want you guys to notice while he's sending that, I'm going to show you guys something. These are the different modes. You got robot, you got black and white 8. I put that in there. Let me show you how I did that. There was something else in here, and I forget what it was. And
Hey man, when I key up, you're not getting it. You're not connected to your radio. Look at the waterfall. It looks all choppy. It means you're not getting.
I was receiving you, Joseph.
I know. I wanted to stop it though and restart it so we can get a full picture this time.
oh boy. I'm still connected. I don't understand what's going on here. You know what I probably have to do? I'm going to tell you guys, this is a good thing right here. A lot of times with these, with WSJTX and also with this program, and I'm sure with some of the others, it will start just not doing something and you just restart it. Before you even start, like, I can't figure it out. Before you do anything else, just restart it first. And then go from
This is
there.
a problem with your sound input though. Cause see how the waterfall looks all weird? There we go. Now you look like you're getting.
Yeah, I mean,
something
it's
better.
hooked to my radio.
If I key up, the noise floor should. Yeah, see, I think it's working now. Okay, let me try transmitting. There we go. Ooh, it looks really grainy though. Why does it look so grainy? Wow, why does it look so bad all of a sudden? Oh, did you switch
Because you're
antennas?
talking and you're using the same sound card.
Same
I'm
sound
not.
card.
That's not me.
I'm hearing you on the radio.
You're hearing my voice?
Yes.
Okay.
That's probably where some of that artifact's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, my setup's not the best.
Whose is?
It could be a lot better.
Yeah. Somebody's been driving the whole time. Greg.
Yeah, he's on his way home.
Let's see here. Yep, we're getting it. There is definitely there's noise in it this time though. But let's not worry about that. The main thing is you guys can see how it works. We're testing it out. We're letting people test it at home. That's the main thing. This entire section here is dedicated to logging your QSO. But I want you to notice down here when I'm making a message, like if I want to use this template, whatever's here is going to be in the template. So if I type if I type whatever here, okay, and then hit enter, that will be what ends up in the template when you pull up the template. See, it says here. You guys see what I'm saying? Now, if you receive an image from somebody and they've got their CW telemetry turned on, that should auto-populate, and we tested it and it worked for us. Okay, I'm gonna let this. I'm not gonna touch this because I want to see if when it gets done, I want to see if it will auto-populate his call sign in there. It should.
I'm not sending this one. This is yeah, I'm not sending this to somebody else. I'm receiving it though.
Well, that's good. I want you guys to. This is good because you can hear what FT8 sounds like.
FT8?
Or yeah, whatever it is. SSTV.
Where'd you find this guy, Joseph?
Hey, I've only been doing this a year. Give me a break. I'm a new guy. Oh, and in SSTV, if your letters aren't colorful, you suck. Your letters have to be like overtly colorful, or something's wrong with you. That's nice. Fall picture there. I love the fall color and I love the snow. You can tell I'm a Florida boy. I was going to say that's probably John's motorcycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Figured as much.
See, if you put your call sign at the bottom, then they got to kind of guess until it gets down there who you are.
There was a method to my madness.
Yeah.
See, I think MMSSTV also detects the call sign from the actual image, because mine filled in with your and the call box. It filled in AA4JS before you sent your Morse code identifier.
Mine
So
didn't.
Right,
I
it
don't
does.
know.
If you'll notice, your call sign is up at the top. I didn't put that. It self-populated that because you sent the last image.
Well, I also sent. See, you can turn on the Morse code identifier, and that's
Right.
what I have on. But I think it also does something else besides the Morse code identifier, because it'll fill out before you're finished sending the image, and it only sends that Morse code at the end of the image. So
Right.
it must encode it in the image
It's
somehow.
in the coding of the picture itself.
Yeah, it must be. That's pretty cool.
We're going to talk about software-defined radios in the next segment. I want you guys to understand something. Everything we're going to talk about there applies to this too. You can use a software-defined radio plugged into your computer. We're going to show you in a few minutes how you can pipe that sound right back into your computer again, into this program. And you can leave your computer hooked up to your big antenna overnight, receiving without having to leave your big radio on or something like that. So I've got another one coming. They're $27, and I'm going to be switching everything. The Broadcastify feeds, I think, are going to end up getting switched over to those. And anyway, we're going to talk about those in a few minutes. All right. Does anybody have any questions on where we're at here? We're on this MMSS TV. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer for you, or that Joseph can answer for you? All right. Well, let me leave you with this, and then we're going to move directly on to the next segment. I don't even take breaks in this show. I just go right on. Basically, I found this to be very, very easy to use. There's no learning curve. You don't have to be Windows savvy. If you can just do basic stuff on Windows, you can figure this out. You don't have to make fancy templates. You can use it just like it is. Now, of course, the more you use it, the more you'll want to fancy it up. But it's so easy to just come in here and you want to transmit. You go in here, you just go through and pick you a picture of what you want to do, and then you go through and you pick you a template. If you don't like where the pictures are on the template, you can move those around. It's really simple. And then when you're done, you hit send and you're sending them a picture. I think it's the coolest thing since peanut butter. I really do. And it's a lot of fun. And if you get it up between now and Thursday night, you can join us on the 820, or as I call it, the computer or repeater. But you can join us there, and we'll send pictures that have these ugly lines through the middle, back and forth. All right. I guess that's it on SSTV, guys. Get it ready. You got, 3 days till the ISS starts sending it over. And again, it's something you can literally leave a Baofeng outside where the antenna's outside, and have your phone sitting next to it with that app and receive images from the space station. It doesn't take any special anything. Okay.
And the app is actually free on Android. It costs, I think it either costs $1 or $5 on the Apple devices. But on Android, the Robot 36 app is actually free. So I definitely recommend getting that, because you never know when you'll be listening to the net or something and they start sending out SSTV. That happened to me one time. It's a very good app.
I like the SSTV. It's fun. It's great. And I haven't tried the app yet, but I'm going to, because what I'm thinking about doing is using the app and hook it directly to a receiver directly into an old phone that has the app in it, and then it can sit there and collect pictures, and it doesn't take up any of my computers or equipment. All right, there you go. That's that. So let's go back to. I'm gonna go ahead and shut that down since we're done with that. All right. Go ahead and kill that. And I just want to go ahead and reset here. We're going to be going into part 2 here, and we're right on time. It's just now coming up on 9 o'clock, so we're right on time here. The next segment, this is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name is Ian, and co-hosting tonight is Joseph, KM4OVZ. My call sign is KO4EFS. And I just want to let you guys know that we are recruiting right now for the Southwest Florida Tech team. If you want to join a fast-paced, small local team here that's getting together to do contesting and some highly technical work, get with us, because we would love to welcome you onto the team. It doesn't cost anything. We just want you. I guess that's about it. We're going to move right on to the next segment now, which is orbital weather satellites. Guys, if you're a prepper, this is a must. Gives you satellite data when there's no internet, no cars, no light, no movie cars, whatever they say on Gilligan's Island. When there's none of that, you could still actually have orbital weather satellite data coming into your shack on something as simple as a Raspberry Pi or a phone or something. I don't know exactly how or well you would do it, but it can be done. I know for the computer, it's pretty simple, and we're going to be going through that process here tonight. Joseph, do you want to say anything as we're getting started with this segment?
Yeah, it may seem complicated at first because a lot of this is done in software. There's not a whole lot of hardware set up. Most of it is software. And these, this program here that we're going to be showing today, it's not the most obvious of how to use it when you first get it. Some of the menu options are a little bit cryptic, and it's, your general open source kind of experience. But once you know where the menu options are and everything, it's actually incredibly simple to set up. And all you need is an antenna and the software running on the computer, and it's very easy to set up. So it may look very complicated at first, but once you get the what's the word for it? Whenever you've got language that's used for something that most people don't know, the lingo. Once you understand the lingo, it's actually pretty easy to figure out and use. So don't feel too intimidated looking at all this stuff that's about to come.
Now, remember, there's 2 kinds of satellites, and we're going to be talking about geosynchronous satellites next week, because we can actually receive images from those as well. Those come in nice and clear. They encompass more of the Earth, and they're received on a higher bandwidth. This one here, what we're talking about now, is received on 2-meter band, and these are what they call polar orbiting satellites. And the orbit brings them over our section every so often, and there's a number of them. So just about every couple of hours, there's one going overhead, and you could be getting live data. We're actually looking right now at putting up an antenna at one of our shacks and actually publishing this data live onto the internet. There's actually a back end in the program built in to do that. So kind of some really cool stuff. Basically, this is an example of what you get. There's 2 kinds of satellites. There's a number of them that put out the lower resolution pictures. And Joseph, correct me if I'm wrong, there's one right now that's putting out the higher resolution pictures.
Yes, so there's 2 different types of satellite. One is a European satellite, and then the others we'll be talking about today are the NOAA satellites. The European satellites actually put out color images, and they're a little bit higher, maybe a little bit higher resolution. Receiving them is exactly the same. You just put in their frequency. The software doesn't need any special configuration for it. It's just exactly the same as you would for the NOAA satellites, but they're on a little bit different frequency. So yeah, the ones we get here, the ones made from the United States, those are in black and white. Of course, the satellites orbit though, so you can get either one whenever you want. So, yeah.
So there you go. There's a bunch of different satellites going over, and as they're going over, they're constantly sending data. So all you have to do is just basically capture it. All right. So what are you going to need to capture the satellite data as it goes over? Well, you're going to need a radio, and it's going to need to be set up so that it pipes audio into your computer. That's seems to be a hurdle to get over, but it really isn't, because remember, we can use an STL, an RTL SDR, a software defined radio. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. And you're going to need an app called WX to IMG, or weather to image. And you're going to need that app downloaded into your computer. You're going to need a way to record it. If you're using the app, you can do it live with the app, or you can record the pass and then play it back into the program, just like I told you could do with SSTV. It's kind of the same thing. Here's the bugger. You know, with everything we do, if it involves the government, what does that mean? There's a bugger. Okay. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Here's the bugger. There's always something, right? Here it is. The one thing, the whole thing that screws us up. And we're going to get around it tonight. I'm going to show you how to get around it. What we're doing is 100% legal, by the way. It's 100% legal to receive any images or anything that's sent out over open frequencies. We all know that. A linear or right-hand circular polarized antenna is required. Now, will you get something without it? Yes. Will it be usable? Doubt it. I picked up some images. They were really bad. I used my 35-foot vertical, and they were just bad. And the weird thing is, a vertical antenna actually picks up more when it's closer to the horizon, and then it kind of fades out overhead, and it's kind of weird. You get it, it's a weird thing. You need a specific antenna for this. You can still play around with it. You can still get some images and do some stuff, but you really need a specific antenna for this. Now, there's 4 different kinds, and we're going to show you some different options for that here in just a minute. Yeah, you're probably asking, well, why can't I just use a scanner for this? You really don't want to use a scanner for this. I'm not going to go into all the crap. Scanners do not have a wide bandwidth. You want to be able to widen that out, and you can do that with a radio or an SDR, but you can't do it with a scanner. So scanners are not recommended. They will still pick up something, but they're not recommended, and you'll never get a clear signal with a scanner. All right, so the standard radio setup, how are we going to do this? Well, the easiest way to do this, because we don't want to tie up our one of our rigs, right? Anytime I'm setting anything up now, I'm trying to do it without tying up one of my main rigs. So we're going to do this by setting up some different things. But first, we're going to go through how you would set it up to your rig. So let's say we're going to set it up to a rig. You would just go into the back of your rig, and Joseph, pipe in here anytime you want. Literally interrupt me, okay?
All right.
Find your radio's auxiliary audio port. It's where you would plug your speaker in the back, or your headphone, or whatever. And then you just plug it right into there. And some radios, you have to change a menu setting to send audio out this port. Most of them you do not. Then you want to plug the other end of that into your line in. You can use mic in. I suggest against it. I would use line in if you have it, because line in is going to be about the right feed strength for that plug. If you use a mic it's going to be really hot coming in for a mic, and so you'd have to turn the radio almost down to nothing. I find there's better results if you find a line in and use line in versus mic in. Plug it into your computer. It's fully automated software. It uses the audio signal from your radio to listen to tones generated by the weather satellite. Okay, and then that program, WX to IMG, that we talked about, supports real-time decoding. And then it also, once it decodes the map, it like puts a colored map behind it. So it basically takes those cloud image that it just downloaded and puts it over a map. And it also has GPS interfacing, a wide area composite image creation, and computer control of many weather satellite receivers, communication receivers, and scanners. It's completely automated recording, decoding, and web page production publishing. That's what I told you about. It'll literally publish the pictures you get right to a website, and there's a quick start guide on the download website. Joseph?
Yes, if you go looking for WX2IMG online, you may hear somewhere that the program was discontinued, but somebody actually took up the project again, and so now that's why the website says it's the restored version, because the makers of the software abandoned it a while back, but it has been taken over and is now still being maintained. So that's pretty good that somebody did that, and it works really well. I've used it some, so yeah, there's a link in here to get it, and yeah, here we go. As you can see, it says restored. So yeah, if you see that it says the project is canceled, then you're in the wrong area, because it is still here.
Right. And they literally like mirrored the page and put it back up again on a different server. So that's why you may get one link that says it's discontinued. Look again, because there's another link there where you'll find it. And that's, you can just type that in there if you want. WXTOIMG restored.xyz. All right. Do you want to go through these?
Hold on one second. Did we oh, the VB audio cable thing is out of order. That's not good. Okay.
I can
Hold on.
run
This is
down
for
to
line
it
in.
and
Yeah,
come
okay, this
back,
is
but
correct. This is correct. This is correct. All right. So when you have WX to IMG installed on your computer, you do actually need to tell it where to listen to the audio stream. So if you've got your radio, connected over an auxiliary plug into the back of your computer for the line in, you'll need to go into WX to IMG and tell it to listen to that audio device. So if you go into WX to IMG, the options tab is up at the top. As you can see there in the little picture, I've got a green box around it. And you go to recording options. They could have chosen a better name, but it's recording options. In here, you'll see in the middle, it says common recording options, and it says sound card. You don't have to mess with sample rate or antenna type or really anything, not even receiver port, unless you're using a special satellite receiver. But you just want to click on sound card, and you want to make it say line in if you're using the line in, or it can say microphone if you're using the microphone device. But more often than not, you'll just make it say line in. Go to the next slide. Yeah, here we go. It says line in. You'll have a bunch of different options there, but line in is what you want, or microphone. So then you hit OK once you're done, and that's your audio device set up. So now the software at this point should be ready to just sort of sit by. There's a menu option. If you go to File, there's an option there that says Test. You can actually test your device by playing. Say you get a file online that's got the sounds that it would play. You can test it to make sure you're working. So at that point, once you've got your audio device set up, you're pretty much ready to go. The software is automated. You can put in your station coordinates, and it will automatically start decoding as the satellite comes into range. So if you leave this running overnight, it won't generate a massive picture of static. It'll only start recording once the satellite should be in range for your signal. Of course, there's a lot of variables that go into that. If you have a different kind of antenna or your station coordinates are off, you can, the buildings in your area and stuff. So you could tweak those settings and figure it out. But you might just want to leave your radio squelch open completely overnight. And in the morning, if all went correctly, you might have an image. It probably won't be very good unless you've built a special antenna. But I've done it before where I've let it run overnight, and in the morning I had an albeit very poor, but I had a picture. So once you've got the audio set up, it's pretty straightforward from there.
all right. So now we're going to talk about the software-defined radio. Again, this is $27 on Amazon. I checked today. It's $27 on Amazon. It's I think most everybody pretty much knows what this is, but it's basically an entire radio receiver in a dongle. You plug it into your your computer. It's a little SMA plug there that you adapt into your antenna. Now, here's what people don't realize. You've got this big antenna, or maybe this long wire that you're using for HF, or maybe this big beam that you're using for 6 meters. Any of that can be hooked up to this and used with this. That's what you can. This thing can receive just as well as your radio in most cases, and it's very customizable as to how wide the bandwidth is and things like that. So Joseph, what else what am I missing?
Yeah, so these dongles are, I think every ham should have one of these because you can listen to anything from around 25 megahertz up to 1.7 gigahertz with the standard settings on one of these dongles, which covers emergency services, all the amateur bands, VHF amateur bands, anything you could possibly want to listen to. You can do any demodulation mode you want. So single sideband, if you want to listen to single sideband on 800 megahertz, you can. You can have any demodulation mode. You can adjust the filter width. So for example, with our NOAA satellites, they have kind of a wide signal, so you can actually adjust the filter width right there in the software to make sure you've got, see the little GIF there, you've got the signal selected in the little receiver. So you don't have too much extra noise and you only have signal. So you can adjust the filter width. These can also be modified to go down to HF bands just with a simple software setting. The sensitivity isn't as good as your purpose-built HF rig on the HF bands, but it will work. So these dongles are very versatile. They do not transmit, they can only receive. But I think everybody should have one of these because they are really good and they're fantastic for satellite stuff.
Yeah, and if you like your SDR, you like anything else in the world, you can buy a better one for $50 and a great one for $100. And for 150 bucks, you can buy one that will actually transmit 500 milliwatts. And then from there, you could plug that into a kicker of some kind, and you could be right where you could literally use it as a two-way radio. So SDRs go all the way up. We're talking basically about the one at the very bottom, which will still receive just about everything you would ever want to receive. All right, here's this fun program that I installed in my computer this week. Go ahead, Joseph.
All right, so virtual audio cable is another thing that I think every amateur radio operator should have on his, his radio computer that he uses. Virtual audio cable is a program that pipes audio from one application to another. So you know how earlier we were selecting the line in audio device for getting audio from your radio? Well, this creates a virtual device. So in one application, you would select the virtual cable as its output. And in the other program, you would select the virtual cable as its input. So now instead of the audio playing through your speakers, it is actually going to go straight into the other program for demodulation or, in this case, weather satellite data download. And a lot of these projects involving any kind of digital mode, if you want to use a software-defined radio, you'll have your application which controls the software-defined radio, and then you'll have your, like FL Digi, for example, or MMS STV. So with virtual cable, you pipe that audio out of the demodulator software and straight into your SSTV or your FL Digi program. So this cable, I use it almost every day. It's so versatile. I use it for everything. But it's VB audio cable or virtual audio cable, and it is free and it is very easy to install. It's like one click once you download it. So yeah, you use it to send audio from program to program. It's very easy to use, and you do need to use it if you're using a software-defined radio for this project.
Yeah, because with these radios, with our computers, we always have a problem with line in. We always have a problem with getting the audio. We want to get an audio from this source to this source. It's always a problem in Windows. With this, it fixes that problem. It gives you one of these for free. If you want the other four, you have to pay for them. There's a nominal fee. But the first one, you get the first one for free. And basically what you do is you set the SDR to send its signal on that on the virtual cable. And then you set your MMST or your whatever you're receiving, whatever you want to receive with it on the other end of that same virtual cable. And now they're connected together. The way this could be really cool. Let's say you had a supercomputer, okay? Like Joseph has. Let's say you could literally run FT8 on this screen with that radio, and you could run an SDR receiving satellite data on this screen. And over here, you could have another SDR receiving MMSSTV images on this screen and have yet another audio cable here on a Zoom meeting with us. And use 3 virtual audio cables, and then use the actual sound card for the Zoom meeting. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you can do all this stuff by just connecting sound cards, either virtual ones like the one he's talking about here, where it connects your SDR Sharp to your device, or by buying these little $8 ones that I'm buying and connecting those up. And those give you the audio source where you can bring in multiple radios into the same computer. So there's so much you can do with this by just figuring out how to get all the audio streams you want to come in and go into just the programs that you want them to go into. And trust me, it can sometimes be the most daunting task. All right. Any more questions on the VB audio cable? Okay. And just to make it clear, it's like a virtual cable that connects things within your computer. And there's the website where you can get VB audio cable. And it's just vb-audio.com/cable. Last call for questions on VB audio cable. All right, Joseph.
All right, so if you're going to be getting satellite data or anything, where you need to pipe audio, in your application that you're using as your demodulator, in this case it's SDR Sharp, which is the most popular demodulator program, you'll go to your audio menu and you'll go to your output and you'll just select the cable input. It is a bit confusing with all these inputs and outputs, but you want to tell your application to output to the input a virtual audio cable. If we go to the next slide, on the next one, you'll just, in your application where you want to receive the audio, you'll select the cable output as the input. So, there's only going to be 2 entries there most of the time, so it isn't that confusing. If you're just, wanting to pipe it, you just look for the entry that says cable and select that. So it is fairly simple, but
yeah, yours
once you have it installed,
won't have 23 devices like this guy's. It'll probably have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really easy to use. That's how you pipe audio back and forth between applications, and it's a very good skill to have because a lot of these projects require that. So once you've got your audio flowing from one to the other, you use your demodulator program. In this picture, it's SDR Sharp, which is the easiest to use and the most popular one. And then you'll just tune it.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but just to put it out
Sure.
there real quick, take a look at this screen, guys. This is SDR Sharp. Notice at the bottom, as you're scanning up and down every single frequency known to man, it actually tells you on the bottom what band you're in, whose band it is. And I've always thought that was really cool about SDR Sharp. I know there's other programs that do something similar, but I like the fact that, okay, I'm scanning through here at 138. Oh, I'm in air band. It even, I think, comes set to automatically change to AM when it gets in the air band.
Yes,
and
it
changes
does.
to SSB when it gets into whatever. It'll actually, unless you override it, it will change into the band that's set for the mode for that band, basically. Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to mention that SDR Sharp is an amazing thing.
We really should have made a slide for it. I feel kind of dumb we didn't make a slide for it.
Well, you can see it here.
Yeah,
I don't have it hooked up, or I would turn it on right now. I don't have one here, but
fair enough.
But yeah.
Yeah, SDR Sharp. It's SDR with a little pound symbol, but it's pronounced SDR Sharp. I'm not sure why that is, but here you can see in this little GIF, this is what the actual signal coming from the NOAA satellite will look like on your waterfall. It's an APT signal. So we actually, in the last TechNet, we played a sound clip of what it sounds like. That's your APT signal coming from the satellite. So if you can see it, if you see those vertical lines, that means you've got a signal. So the stronger the lines are and the more of them there are, the stronger your signal is. And so if you see those, that means you've got your satellite locked in, and you can go over to WX to IMG and start waiting for a picture, providing everything is set up correctly.
And again, you can sit there all night and wait for a satellite, or you can go to the tracking site and see when the next one's coming over, and an ADD it like I do. Oh, here's my favorite and least favorite part of this discussion tonight. Okay, here we go. Guys, you have to have a special antenna to get really clear images. The government uses a horizontally, or it's a what
circular, right-hand circular
Circularly-
polarization.
yeah, right-hand circular polarization. It sounds more like a building tool, but yeah, you've got to have an antenna that's got the right bastard circularization polarization thingy, or it doesn't get you good clear images. That's the bottom line. Here's your options. You've got an inverted V dipole. It's built specifically for picking up the satellite, and it's built in a very specific way. It's probably the easiest to make, but it also has the lowest performance. The Helix is probably the toughest to build, but they're very omnidirectional, and you'll get the signal right as it comes above the horizon. That's what's great about the Helix. I'm probably going to build one of those out of copper pipe. I think you actually buy copper flex pipe, and yeah, I think I'm
They're
going to build
very
one.
touchy though. They're very difficult to build. So
I know.
if you go trying to build one of those, expect disappointment the first couple of times because they are not easy. Because look at that,
I
you
can't
gotta
handle no.
you gotta bend it in a circle as it
You know,
going up. It's very
after
weird.
WinLink and HF phone, I don't know if I can take another disappointment. Well, yeah, I really want to build that, but I will tell you the double cross is supposed to do pretty good, almost as good performance, but it's supposed to be a lot easier to build. So
Yeah, you just
maybe,
basically have 4 dipoles tuned for the the 137 megahertz. You got 4 dipoles rotated at 90 degrees, and then you turn it at I think that's that's probably also 90 degrees. So you get 4 of them, you tilt them like that, and I guess that produces the circular polarization that you need. It's also omnidirectional, so the Helix and the double cross have very similar performance. So if you want good performance but you don't want to bother with the Helix, I'd recommend you go with the double cross because it's much simpler to build.
yeah, and the double cross would probably be something you could package away and take out if you needed it too, like for a prepper situation. That almost looks like something I could take apart and stick it all down in that pipe and put a cap on the end of it and put it under the
Yeah.
house. You know what I mean? And just have it ready. And it basically it's 4 dipoles, and then you just have to turn them all on the right angle. All right, so there you go, guys. That's the one problem with this is that you got to have the right antenna. And of course, you'll cut everything to work at 137 megahertz. Okay, I'll give you this one. Go.
All right, so you can get these signals if you've built the antenna. You can get these signals just fine with just your radio and the antenna. But if you want the best picture quality and you want to get it right as it comes up over the horizon, you want to maintain a strong signal. You want to get as much juice out of it as you possibly can. Then you'll probably want to get a Newelec Saubard Plus LNA. So what this actually has is it's got a filter in it that stops everything except for the 137 megahertz area of satellite information. It blocks everything except for that. So that's going to help with nearby FM radio stations because those could be a really big problem if there's one close near you. Those will help with that. Those will help with airband, which is really close. Sometimes if a plane flies overhead, it'll completely wipe out your SDR or it'll overload your SDR because it's high power, a very similar frequency. So these Saubard filters, they run about $35 to $40 on Amazon, and they've got a low noise amplifier in them as well. So not only will it filter out everything and give you just what you want, it will actually amplify it. And I haven't used the NOAA one, but I have used one for a different band, and I can tell you that they do work quite well. They're very nice little devices, very well built, high quality. You can get them in a little metal enclosure too. The one in the picture here is the one I have, which is just in the bare PCB with the filter on it. But you can get them in a little enclosure. They can be powered off the bias T of the software-defined radio. So it will actually put out some voltage on the antenna line, and then the LNA will get powered off of that. Alternatively, you can plug in a micro USB port or just 2 little battery leads into the board, and it'll power 3 different ways. So these devices are great. I highly recommend them if you've got, you know, a permanent setup and you just want to make sure you've always got the best signal. These things are fantastic.
And in testing, they completely filtered out my wife's voice. Okay, these are your frequencies for the satellites. There's the 4 main ones here. And because it's the government, we don't start with number 1. But anyway, 12, 15, 19, 17, those are your 4 main satellites, and those are the corresponding frequencies.
NOAA 19 is probably the one you want to use for this area. The others will pass overhead as well, so I guess actually that doesn't make a lot of sense if they're orbital satellites, but I always do NOAA 19, 137.100 megahertz. That's the one I've always done, and it gives really nice pictures of Florida. Is usually centered in the, well, here's the thing, whichever area the satellite's over, that's what you get a picture of. So if it's over Florida, you're going to get a picture of Florida. So you can really use any one of these. There are other satellites. The problem is they get turned off after a while. So, you know, NOAA 11, for example, or NOAA 16, that's been deactivated, and it no longer sends out images anymore. So there's, you know, there's a few that are on and a few that are off. But NOAA 19 is the one I usually use. I haven't tried the other 3, but for my limited testing that I've done, NOAA 19 seems to be just the one I'd recommend trying to go for at 137.100 megahertz.
And these are considered old technology. So
very much so, yes.
Some of these are reaching end of life at this point. But the neat thing is with your SDR Sharp, if you get a little crafty with the programming, I believe you can get your SDR Sharp to receive all 4 of these frequencies at the same time with a Windows computer.
Yeah, you could actually.
I think, yeah. And so I think there's a real good chance you could actually have your system receiving all 4 frequencies at the same time. The only problem would be is if you had 2 making a pass at the same time, they would completely blow each other up. So you would get nothing but crap. But what are the odds, right? I think you'd be better off doing it. You're going to get more because you're going to get 4 satellites, even if every now and then you do get a mix match. But anyway, so there you go for best results. Doppler shift, I believe the program compensates for that. It's nothing you really need to worry about. But the antenna is essential. So if you want to do this with any kind of clarity at all, or if you're doing it in a prepper situation, you want to build an antenna and test it, and then you want to store that antenna away where it's safe, or deploy it so that it's being used, however you're going to do it. You want to use a program. You can use programs to tell you, that will even alert you if you want to, when they're going to fly over your house. And of course, you've got to use the right-hand circular circle jerk antenna, whatever they call it. All right, that gets us, that's to the end of that. Does anybody have anything else on software-defined radios or on receiving satellite images and telemetry from NOAA satellites? Again, we did a really good job, or we suck. Okay, there's a chipmunk calling.
I think it's Steve.
It's got to be Steve because it sounds like a chipmunk. Yeah. It's all right, Alvin. It's all right. I want you to do me a favor, though, before you fix it. No, you are singing. I want you to sing. At Christmas time is here. Come on, sing it. Come on. Can anybody understand what little man's saying?
I cannot understand him.
I don't do chipmunk. Do you? You can either type it in the text, or you can reset, and we'll still be here when you get back. Or you could sing that song if you really, if you really wanted to make our day. Oh well. Maybe Jingle Bells. That's a good one. I like when they sing Jingle Bells. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, okay. All right. All right. Well, anyway, we'll come back to that when he comes back to that. Okay. Anyway, I just want to I'm gonna start adding a few things. We're now through the 2 segments of the show, of the net, whatever you want to call this thing. I still don't know what to call it yet. Session. It's there's really
Presentation.
no, yeah, I mean, there's really presentation. I think that's probably the best one yet. But anyway, if no one has any questions up till now on this, I'm going to have a quick little part each week. I'm going to have a thought of the day, a thought of the week, whatever you want to call it, and then we're going to do the news, and then we'll get out of here. And that's basically how we're going to do it. My thought of the week is simple, guys. The biggest thing right now that I see in ham radio is the hatred for computers, man. Um, I don't understand it. When I first got in it, I kind of got it. I kind of was like, man, computers, they're not radio, they're not radio. But then I started realizing that it's just another mode, like sideband, like, you know, FM. And so I started realizing, there's something to it. And then I got into FT8, and then I got into this other stuff. And now I've discovered SSTV. And then last night I used this other digital mode, JS, what is it?
FL Digi, or
FL Digi.
we were using PSK 3250.
PSK 250 was what we were using last night, and it worked. It was fun. I had a great time last night, with everybody talking back and forth about how to use it and everything. The moral to the story that I'm trying to make here is, if you haven't hooked your computer to your radio yet, what are you waiting for? Let's get it done, because there's just so much more fun to have with that. I love voice too, guys, but there's just not a lot going on with voice right now. So um, basically, the bottom line is, nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear what I'm about to say. But there's 3 things right now, basically, that are saving ham radio. There's 3 things right now that are stimulating new people to come to ham radio. There's 3 things right now that are still making this work under the current system, and that's Baofeng, digital modes, and computers and the internet. And I'll explain. Baofeng, it's simple. I know everybody loves to hate Baofeng, and I'm not going to get on here and start talking geopolitical this and human rights that. Okay, as far as the radios are going, they're bringing people into our hobby. We have no control over how they're made or who makes them or who ships them and how much they charge for them. But regardless of all that, regardless of the preppers, regardless of the reasons, regardless of the illegal use before it becomes legal, whatever, it's bringing people into the hobby. And that's all that matters to me at this point about Baofeng radios. It brought me into the hobby. My son-in-law brought one of them in the house. Said, hey, I bought these radios. We want to use them at work. I want to do it legally. Can you tell me what I have to do it legally? And that was the research that got me to find out that the code thing was gone and I could actually get my ham radio license. And Baofeng is why I'm a ham radio operator right now. If it wasn't for those cheap $20 radios that he brought home that day, I would not be a ham radio operator today. So I owe it to those stupid cheap radios that are built in some sweatshop on the other side of the world. Regardless, it's working for us right now, and there's nothing we can do about it either way. So we just got to put aside the hatred and embrace the good. I don't know what else to say, okay? Digital modes. There was a time when you could tell somebody, you can pick up this mic and you could talk to a guy in Japan. You can pick up this mic and you can talk to a guy anywhere in the world. Nobody cares about that anymore. I go on my computer and I can share whatever I want with anybody I want in the world instantaneously. Voice, video, audio, radio. I can broadcast live to YouTube worldwide. I could Zoom anybody. I can Skype anybody. I can do all kinds of things that sound dirty. And the point is that doesn't entice people into ham radio anymore. There's nothing about long distance phone that entices people into radio anymore. So we need something that's going to get new people, young people, computer people into ham radio. And SSTV and FT8 are two mediums that are going to do that. And I really think that. And so those digital modes are going to be so important. And then finally, computers and the internet. It's because there's a lot of us now, there's still a lot that aren't, but there's a lot of us now that are using social media and using YouTube and using Zoom and using all of these computer mediums that we have out here to get the word out to a younger generation about ham radio and about how much fun it is and how much you can do with it and how amazing it is and how you can literally learn a new skill every week and never run out of things to learn. It's probably the most amazing hobby on earth, and it's the most amazing science hobby that there ever was, and I just absolutely love it. And so I thank God we have the internet, we have YouTube, and we have computers to help us get the word out and entice new people into our hobby because it is so important. All right, I'm off the soapbox. Does anybody have any comments about that?
No, I think absolutely the Baofengs are they're pretty good. Once you've had one for a few years, then maybe you can go for an upgrade. But I used the Baofeng UV5R for like 6 years, and it works fine. It's a great little radio, and it only costs $25 on Amazon. So they are fantastic, and yeah, definitely, because young people can buy them. Because we don't have huge budgets, and we have an allowance or something, and $30 that takes 3 weeks to get. So that's Baofengs are fantastic. I know I've used mine. I still use mine. It's a fantastic radio. And yeah, I agree with you. And
as a disclaimer, because I want to make John happy, they're also crap. Is that okay, John? Will that do? They're cheap radios. They're inexpensive. The whole rumors you hear about the whole spurious transmissions and they're ruining radio. It's not that bad. They're not perfect. They're not great radios. They're good radios though, and they do work. And they're great starter radios. And I suggest everybody starts with one of those on your way to something better. And I do.
Ones that are compliant with the SCC regulations.
Yeah, and I will tell you guys, there's all the ones I have are non-compliant radios. Does that mean I can't use them? No. Does that mean I can't possess them or sell them personally to another ham? No. I can have them, I can sell them, I can have them. It comes down to vendors. Vendors are the ones that have the. It's incumbent upon them to only sell what is FCC compliant, and the factories to sell what is FCC compliant. Once we've bought something and it's ours, we can buy it, use it, sell it back and forth to each other, and it's still perfectly legal. I just want to put that out there. The club's being very cautious because we're wanting to buy little Baofengs to program for new people, and we want to be legal. FMARC, we want to do it the right way. We want to be legal. So we're wanting to get the right radios, the ones that are FCC compliant. That being said, I don't want the rumor out there that these other ones are now illegal radios. They're not illegal radios. They're simply just radios that were sold previous to this law being changed, and they're legal as used radios on the system. That's basically where it's at. They're grandfathered, if you will. I will caution you guys, if you have Baofeng equipment, please be careful because it will broadcast on frequencies that we're not allowed to broadcast on, and we don't do that. So, and I will say that. Okay. Recruiting drive. I got a recruiting drive going on. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I'd love to get some of you guys to join up. We've got a meeting next week. Our first meeting, it's going to be just a quick hour meeting. We're going to get together on Zoom. We're going to talk about putting our bylaws together and getting started. But it's going to be a pretty quick little meeting just to basically go through where we're at and basically get started. If you want to be in on the start of something new, this would be it. Okay, we're going to be doing all things that the other clubs aren't doing, and it's going to be some really fun stuff. So if you want to join, has nothing to do with your membership in the other clubs. In fact, I'm still members with the other clubs and doing my stuff with them too. So This is something totally different. If you want to join us and do it, all you have to do is go to the website, click that blue button, or click the join now button and join us up. I send out emails 2 or 3 times a week with all the latest solar updates, all the latest ham radio news updates, updates about the club, updates about local events, everything that's going on with the other clubs. I put out this email. I've been putting it out to just 5 or 6 people right now, but I'm still doing it because it's important with consistency. I would love to get some more of you guys signed up. Okay. So just sign up for the group. Doesn't cost anything. You can join or unjoin at any time. I don't care. Once you join, you'll get the email, and it'll just be a nice little update as to what's going on in ham radio. And it'll be local, regional, national, international. It covers a little bit of everything. Let's see here. You guys know all about the club already. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I would love to get some more of you guys to join up. We've got a lot of things that we really want to do, and it's going to take people that want to do it with us. So if you think you want to join up with us, join up with us. Like I said, we're going to be doing some cool stuff. Just go to that big blue button there and find out more, or go to the join now button, click that and sign up. That's all we got there. Amateur radio news. What do we got in news this week? But the chip shortage continues. Oh my Lord. They're now saying this chip shortage is going to affect amateur radio operators through Christmas. And here's why. Okay. You got Apple, right? Apple's buying chips. IBM's buying chips. Whoever else, Samsung's buying chips. And ICOM's buying chips. Who do you think gets the priority? Who do you think's on the bottom of that list? Unfortunately, ICOM and Yazoo and Kenwood, they're all having hard times getting chips because the big manufacturers are buying them all up. The commercial people making commercial radios, 1 million at a time, are buying them all up. People that are making other devices that use the same chips are buying them all up. And so amateur radio, we're finding ourselves on the bad end of this, unfortunately. It sucks. But that's where we're at. And so I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. If you're ordering somebody a ham radio for Christmas, I would order it now. Put it in the closet if it comes in early. All right, the next thing. Good news. The FMARC's 220 antenna is just about back online. The antenna has been placed, or not the antenna. Let me go back. The repeater and the amplifier have been placed in the rack, and you can see them there in the right 2 pictures. The antenna
Your slide hasn't updated.
I'm showing it on my monitor. Can you guys see it?
I think it's frozen.
I think it's you, because I think on my monitor I'm seeing the current page. Everybody should be seeing something that says get ready, the FMARC 220 repeater is going back online. That should be the page everybody's on if you're not refreshed or something. All right. Anyway, the club has a 220 repeater. For those of you who are not familiar, this is a great band. It's really a neat band.
There we go.
It's a really quiet band because there's nobody on it but us. It's literally a dead band. You can get on there and do whatever you want. It's legal, of course. What I like about this band is it seems to have the best properties of 2 meter and 70 centimeter all rolled into the same band. It's kind of neat. I've used it before when the repeater was, I think it was at the EOC. I was able to hit it with a little portable radio, a little Baofeng I got here at the house, and it no problem at all. You're going to want to be ready for this. If you used to talk on the net with no name, which, by the way, if it's called the net with no name, it's not a net with no name, because that's the name. But anyway, we'll cover that some other time. But anyway, if you want to listen to this, if you want to participate in this, you have to program a PL tone into your radio. Let's say you used to be on the 220 net and you used to participate. It's not going to work anymore. The new repeater has a PL tone now, so you have to at least transmit the PL tone in order to open up the repeater. So make sure it's the same PL tone we use for the 685 and most of the other repeaters. Any questions on the 220? There is a net, like I said, at 7:30 on Wednesdays. I'll be on there. I like the 220 net. Hopefully we'll get you on there. If you, let's say you want to do it, and I can't afford that band, it's too expensive. No, it's not, John. There's a Baofeng for that.
So do they pay you for all the promotion you give them?
God, I hope so. They could just send me more radios. Send more radios. It's not that I'm promoting them as much as I'm promoting the cheapest thing there is. I'm promoting whatever can get people on the radio to talk to me. And this is it. This little unit right here is what I own. I have one right up here. I would show you, but this little unit's actually the one that's receiving all the FMARC repeaters right now. I'm putting them over radio reference, so I don't want to take that down right now. But I have this exact unit in red, this color, and it works great. It's actually all three bands. It also picks up FM broadcast receive only, but it will pick up all three of those bands and broadcast on them. And then when it's 220 night, you just take your dual band antenna off and you put your 220 antenna on, and now you've got a 220 portable radio. So you can get on the 220 net for as low as $29.95. All right. So anyway, now I'm too far from downtown Fort Myers. Well, we'll build a radio antenna. It's no big deal. 220 antennas are easy to build. Remember, they're about halfway between a 770 and a 70 centimeter and a 2 meter. So they're not that big. They're all the elements are only about a foot on either side. It's really not that big. Did somebody have something?
About 13 inches.
13 inches. There you go.
13 inches.
I suggest starting with an old tape measure that you have out in the garage and some plumbing parts. This is a 70 centimeter, of course. The one you're going to build is going to be a little longer than this. But you can build an antenna and use it for this. You can build a simple dipole. With all it takes is a piece of wood and a couple of screws and a couple of coat hangers, and you can build a dipole for this. Call me. I'll walk you through it on the phone. It'll take 20 minutes. But we can get you on the 220 net. All you need is a piece of wire with an SMA plug at the end. That's the hardest thing. If you've got that, we can build the rest out of the garage. But there is some options on here. There's some nicer antennas. There's a Yagi here you can get. But again, I don't buy commercial antennas because I like to build my antennas. It's a lot more fun when you can just take a yardstick, a couple of your wife's coat hangers, anything you've got laying around the house, and build your own antenna. Build your own 220 antenna. I do not suggest dual banding anything with 220. 2 meter and 770 centimeter are not resonant with 220 or 1.25 meters. They're not resonant. I don't know if you guys know that or not. One of the reasons that a dual band VHF UHF antenna works so well is because the frequencies are somewhat resonant. That's why, I don't know if you guys know this or not, you can take a VHF antenna on your car and hook a UHF up to it, and check your SWR, and it's 1 to 2. It's not bad. You're fine with that. The lobe is not great. It's going to send the power not in the best lobe. But that being said, that VHF antenna will broadcast UHF all day without hurting your radio. That cannot be said for the 1.25 meter or the 220 megahertz. I don't think you can say the same for that. You can't just shove that into a VHF or a 70 centimeter antenna. you really need to have an antenna that's tuned for that one band.
Okay, there's one exception to that. It's called a discone. DISCONE. Ever heard of
Uh-huh.
those?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, those are wide band antennas. You could hook a 2 meter 220 and 440. You run them all, and you can actually run 1.2 gigahertz on that. Another option is something called a compact antenna. You look at HRO. It's COMPACTENNA. It's a small device. It's about 7 inches long. It does 2 meters, 220, and 440.
I saw that a while back. Compact antenna. It's like
Yeah.
one word. Yeah, I saw that a while back.
Got one. It's set up for all 3 bands.
I also saw a J-pole, tri-band J-pole that was set up for that all 3 bands, and I was told by the person that was selling it that it works. But I don't know.
The tri-band that I built years ago. It's called Copper Cactus. I can dig the article out of 73. It's an old 73 magazine, but I can dig that out. And you can go down to Home Depot and get you some copper tubing and build a 3-band antenna. It's got 3 different connections for the 3 different antennas.
That's
3
cool.
antennas in one.
That's cool. And I will tell you, like with Yeagis, I found that for the best performance, the best thing you can do for the best performance is just make it for the exact frequency you want and don't dual band it. Just make it. I know that's a pain in the ass when you got to put up 12 antennas.
Yeah.
But man, when you start putting tuners on things and you start dual branding and tri-banding, there's always a give and take, and the take is bad sometimes. Yeah. I just really love when you can have just one antenna for something. Okay. Anyway, there you go. Any questions on the 220 or the no name net or any of that stuff? I hope to hear everybody on there. It was a small net when we had to shut it down because the repeater, the county actually needed the repeater space, the tower space, and that's why it was taken down. That's the only reason. They put up a new trunking system. The county's putting up a new trunking system because I guess they had extra money or something. And so because of that, they had to take one thing down, and it was that, because it wasn't used much. But we got it back up now, and it's going to be on a better system. Not that there was anything wrong with the last one, but so I expect it to have great performance. All right, a Magic Band update, real quick. Was an okay week. We saw a lull through the middle of the week again. Seems to be about a 7 or 8 day cycle this stuff takes, maybe 6. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to find a place where I can find plots, because I really think we can go back and plot a cycle for this, because it seems like every 5 or 6 or 7 days I have 2 really good days in a row, and then it gets kind of crappy again. And I really think there's something to this cycle. And I've read in several articles people mentioning a cycle when it comes to the sporadic E openings. So anyway, there you go. It could be, I don't know. I had an opening the other day that was just amazing. This one was pretty cool. I just wanted to show you guys this one. This was one from Florida, opened up into Europe, and I got 5 or 6 contacts in Europe on 6 meters when this happened. That's a pretty good stretch for 6 meters. As Magic Band goes, that's 2 or 3 jumps. I mean, that's 2 or 3 hops. So that's pretty good. All right. Something I'm going to be doing that's interesting, that may interest you, or that you might think is totally stupid. I don't know. But something I'm going to be doing that I used to do a little of years ago, and I'm going to be doing again, is I'm going to be doing broadcasting when storms approach. One thing that people like to do when hurricanes are coming, when riots are happening, when earthquakes are happening, when disaster strikes, people go online and they begin to look for any information they can get, live feeds, for instance, from the affected area. One of the things I've been working on for a while, and I just actually got the last piece of software, ManyCams, and I've just got it updated to a full version. One of the things I'm going to be doing is providing a broadcast basically of the approach of storms. I'm not going to be standing in front of a green screen pointing and doing weather forecasting. As a matter of fact, you probably won't hear or see me at all. It'll more than likely just be video, maps, scanner feeds from the affected area. If it's coming near Florida, I'll have SARNet, the NI4CE system, and then I'll also feeds from that area as well. It's going to be based around amateur radio. It's going to show amateur radio activity in Florida or wherever the storm's striking. So it's going to be a live feed that's based on the disaster from an amateur radio point of view, and it's going to broadcast live through the incident. And when you tune to it, you can actually tune to it and watch live feeds. There'll be up to 4 live feeds at a time, video, and up to 2 audio feeds on the left and right channels. Each will have separate audio. So you'll be able to listen. I'm even considering trying to get it to where one side of the audio will have multiple VHF and UHF frequencies, including SARNet, while the other side of the audio has the HF StormNet for that storm. There's actually a hurricane net that goes on during a storm on a specific frequency, and I would like to carry that as well. So this is something I think is going to be really cool for people around the world to be able to actually watch from an amateur radio operator's point of view the storm approaching the state or whatever's going on. So it's just something I'm putting together, and it's so ready that I was considering doing something after the broadcast tonight, but that system in the Gulf is just so weak. I've kind of decided against it now. It's not worth it. But as soon as I have a major incident to go into live feed mode, I will go into live feed mode. Now you're probably asking, what do you get from this? Well, I'm not monetized. It's not money. What I get from this is vicarious credit, if you will, for our videos. And here's what that means. YouTube is based on algorithms, okay? Every time you hit like on one of our videos, that helps us tremendously. Every time you leave a comment on one of our videos, it helps us tremendously. Every time you watch one of our videos, it helps us a little bit. Every time you subscribe to our channel, if you subscribe to our channel, that helps us immensely. If you hit the subscribe button, that helps us. Every time something happens to us, whether it's a watch, a view, a subscribe, a like, a comment, whatever, it's a point on our algorithm, basically. And if I put up a feed, a lot of ham radio people from around the country are going to get the feed because I'm going to have ham radio right in the title. Ham radio, amateur radio, both those terms will be right in the title. So they're going to see the hurricane name, and they're going to see amateur radio, and they're going to see ham radio, and they're going to see whatever else I put in there, WatchNet, whatever. And we will get interest come in from around the globe that's interested in what we're broadcasting, which will then bring them into our website, where they will then see our other broadcasts and see what we do here and bring interest in. For people who are not amateurs, it shows them a lot of what we do. They're going to be able to listen to different amateur feeds. They're going to be able to see maps of what amateur traffic's going on. They're going to be able to see video feeds if I can find them. And it will be a very interesting thing for them to be a part of. And then when they click the link, they go to the website, they see that, oh my God, these guys do all kinds of really cool stuff. And basically what it does is it stokes the fire, the algorithm fire, and keeps it going. If I do one of these watch nets, I turn it on, I leave it, I go to bed. It's something that I can adjust periodically, but don't have to sit here through the whole thing. It's not like I'm the news guy or anything. Like I said, I won't even be on it. It's just a static image of screens and things and status screens and audio in both different ears. But it will bring interest in. It will bring hits, links, algorithm credit. It'll bring all that into that YouTube channel, which will help us get a wider reach for our TechNet out there. And so that's the reason it's being done. So let you know, if you're on our email system, I will give you an email when we go live. if you subscribe and hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel, you will get a notification when we go live. Those would be the two ways to be notified when we go live. Either sign up for the tech club and the tech team. I don't like calling it a club because we're already all members of a big club. It's a team. But you can join the tech team and get the emails, or you can subscribe to the YouTube, or both. I ask that you subscribe and hit the notification bell, if for no other reason, just to help us out, because it gives us algorithm credit. All right, the only contest this weekend, that I could find, it seemed like it was worth the crap, is the West Virginia QSO party. It's a little state. I can't believe there's a whole lot of amateurs there, but I'm sure there is. So if you want to give it a shot, the only thing I could find, though, was the West Virginia QSO party. I used to go skiing near Elkins there at a place called Snowshoe, West Virginia. It's a great little ski resort up there. It's for people like me that can't afford to go to Breckenridge in Colorado. All right. As always, our website is always there for you guys. You know where everything is. I don't need to hit it again. And the last thing is, if you have a particular skill, or you know a specific thing that you want to come on and do, like Joseph did tonight, and like Joseph's doing again next week, and co-host with me. We're always looking for co-hosts. We may have 3 or 4 co-hosts. I'm always looking for people that have knowledge. I've been doing this. I just got my ticket a year ago. Haven't been doing this all that long. And I admit it openly. I am not an Elmer. It'll be a while before I'm an Elmer. But I want to help people get in this. I want to help people get going with it, and I want to help people succeed. And so I'm doing what I can, and this is what I can do. But what I need you guys to do is become the other person, like Joseph did tonight. Be the smart guy that helps me get through the night, because I'm the new guy. And but that's what I really need. If you guys have a topic, I don't even care if it's one we've covered. I'll do it again from a different angle. Whatever it is. Get with me. Let's do it. Especially if you think it's too mundane or it's too old school, get with me, because you might be surprised. I really want to do old school stuff, like finding success with phone. Things like that. I would like somebody that I can get set up one night that will work phone with us one night, that we can actually work phone on the radio. I'd love to actually get somebody that's been doing this a long time, that's got a good radio, that can hook us into their rig control so we can see their radio, and they can actually dial around and actually do it so we can hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear somebody working QSOs out there. Next week, geosynchronous weather satellites. That's the other thing we didn't get to tonight. I knew that we would not have time. Joseph and I talked about
this.
Hey,
you got my call sign wrong.
Do I?
KM4OVG.
Oh, whatever. I'm sorry. It's OVZ. Whatever. I got it wrong. I'll change that. But anyway, Joseph came in tonight and co-hosted with me. He's going to be doing it again next week. This was actually the original topic that Joseph brought, and it ended up getting tabled till next week. I kind of feel bad, but this is going to be fun. This is actually done with a little wire dish, and it's done in microwave. And so we're going to be going through that. And then after that, we're going to shallow dive FL Digi, because I think we're going to come back in a few weeks and deep dive it later, but we're at least going to shallow dive, and we're going to demonstrate FL Digi. So that's what we got for next week with KM4OVZ. And that's it. That's what I got, guys. So now it's your turn. Does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns up till now, or anything like they'd like to discuss, or any announcements they have they'd like to make?
Yeah, is this working okay now?
Yeah, I got you now. I really wanted that song before.
Yeah, okay. This is for Joseph. You still there, Joseph?
I'm still here.
Okay. With the NOAA European map, that's in color. When that goes over the U.S., do you get the U.S. on there?
Yeah, so whichever satellite is, wherever the satellite is currently over, that's what you get a picture of. So if you're in Florida, you'll get a picture of Florida. If you're in California, you'll get a picture of California. So it's whatever it's currently over, that's what you get a picture of.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
That's why I said this is specifically important for preppers, because this would give you literally data from space without the internet or without anything else, just you and the satellite.
Yeah, you could actually do that with a battery.
Yeah. You could be out in the middle of nowhere with nothing, but you would just need to have a device to image it on, a computer of some kind. And as we know, there's a bunch of options now there. And you would need to have that special antenna.
Yeah. And I don't think the antenna is going to be that hard.
No, it's not. But if you we're wanting to actually download usable images, like not just like hobby it a little bit. I'm wanting to put up this antenna and leave it up for a while and actually post. Here's what we're thinking. Joseph and I have been talking about this. We want to use our website to interest people in the hobby. Every website I go to, there's nothing going on. We're going to set up an SSTV reflector on our website. So if you want to send a card to us, you can actually send a card over the radio to our website.
Yep.
We're also wanting to show this data in real time. So you'd be able to actually go to our website and not just see the weather data that I get from the internet, but you'd also be able to see the actual weather data that we're pulling up, and we'll explain how we're doing it with pictures of the equipment and everything. Again, to show people more things you can do with ham radio that's actually refreshing in real time, that people can actually see it changing, something happening. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool if you go to our website and right up in the top corner is an SSTV image. And
that would be very cool.
You can send your SSTV image to our website. We'll have a certain frequency. You flip over to that frequency and you can send it. And we'll have it on 2 meter this week. Maybe I'll switch it to 10 meter next week. And we'll switch it around. And that way you guys can use that to anytime, day or night, 24 hours a day, to test your SSTV system with mine. I don't know of another SSTV test mirror that's up anywhere. I couldn't find one anyway. I looked.
Oh, I'll have to text you or message you later, because I just thought of another way to get the pictures up on the website that might be even cooler than just uploading them. I'll have to tell you about that later.
That's cool. Yeah, I've even been thinking about starting a 24-hour broadcast that would have on YouTube, that would have like composited 4 different things going on at one time with 2 different audio feeds going on at one time, that would just run 24 hours a day. Ham radio live, 24 hours a day. I mean, there's just nothing like pissing away good bandwidth, right? All right, so what else? Let's see here. What else? Has anybody got anything else?
Well, you didn't. If you close the presentation and then restart it, there's one final slide after the co-host slide that you would need to show. What is this? There's a towel on somebody's head. Oh, it's a chair. Oh.
It's just me.
Put another slide in here at the very end.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, there is something I will plug. Boy, Google Slides, man.
Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
I just got it in today.
Oh, I love it. A weather station.
It's a Davis weather station, and I'm going to be putting this up in the next few days.
That's really cool.
So it'll be a source of live weather data. It does, all the usual stuff, wind speed and barometric pressure and rain gauge and all that stuff. Just got the thing in today.
Oh, it's a shame that didn't come up because that would have been hilarious. I'll share this. We did. You guys remember we did the Sounds of Ham Radio. We did the Sights of Ham Radio. This is what he suggests for next week. The smells of amateur radio.
What is that? A burning resistor or something?
Yeah, you smell the magic smoke, and you got to tell me if it's your board or your finals.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny. I got to tell you.
Cooking ham radio.
Bacon frying.
There you go.
Baked ham. Radio, that is.
Yeah, you're supposed to hear the bacon, not smell it.
That's right.
Oh, man, that's pretty good.
That's what all that crackly stuff I've been hearing on 80 meters this lately.
Yeah. You know what's funny is the amount of confirmations I get back on my logbook varies by band. Figure that one out. 6 meter people almost always return my confirmations. I don't know what it is. 80 meter people, not so much. They're like, yeah, you talk to me, so what? I don't know what the difference is. I don't know. But anyway, I cannot tell you how many 6 meter contacts I've had lately. If you guys have not gotten into Magic Band this year, I would suggest that like over the next 9 months, you wait till someone's getting rid of some big piece of crap antenna that nobody wants and then grab it. That's what I did. I got this 5-element 6 meter band antenna, and it is an amazing piece of equipment. Absolutely amazing piece of equipment. It's just an old antenna, and I literally like took a piece of equipment off of it and did a bunch of stuff and cleaned it all up, and it just works perfect.
Old channel 2 TV antenna, be a great 6 meter antenna.
There you go. And just to give you guys an idea of what I'm getting, this is from my rig. Now I want you this. I've got a 6 meter beam, but this is a look at my logbook here. Notice I've got my logbook set for 6 meter only. I got 743 contacts so far. I've sorted them. This is the new, by the way, if you haven't used it, this is the new QRZ logbook. Really, really nice. The new update that they did is really nice. I can go and sort. I can filter by 6 meter only, and then I can sort by distance, and it shows me my furthest contacts, one in Bermuda and one in Dominica. I don't know how that is. I don't, these miles are all screwed up. I don't know how that is, but whatever. It shows you some of the further ones here. Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Malta. But then you end up getting a lot in the United States, of course. But I'm very surprised at the amount of people. I get almost all the confirmations come back in 6 meters. It's kind of amazing. But you go to other bands and I don't get as many of the confirmations back. It's just kind of weird. I don't know if there's a reason for that. But I just wanted to show you guys this. I found this new QRZ logbook is great. You got your utilities all right here. You can set this and you can tell it what fields you want to put into your logbook. And then once you do that, you can come out here and like I can zoom out. Notice I've got all kinds of fields in here. Like I like in my logbook, I like to be able to see like the mileage, the kilometers. I've got the DX zone. These are, there's just all different things here. And you can set it for whatever you want, whatever you want your logbook to have in it, whatever fields. And then you can take these fields and you can drag them in and out to make them bigger. You can also, anytime there's arrows, see these arrows? You can sort by grid. You can sort by mode. You can sort by anything where there's an arrow.
That's just like an Excel spreadsheet.
Basically, it is very much like an Excel spreadsheet. And so if you guys haven't started a logbook yet, I find a lot of hams just never really started a logbook because, well, I don't want to buy HRD because those people are literally the devil. And I don't want to, I don't want to use this program or that. I don't want to have to use a stupid. You don't have to. QRZ, it's right there. It's free. I paid the little thing for the data service because if you pay the data service, you get a lot more. But they've got theirs are the only awards out there that you don't have to pay for, just so you know. I got to tell you guys something. You want to talk about highway robbery? Okay. Awards are highway robbery. Jeez, I would cuss right now if I did that on this net. I cannot believe what they charge. Logbook of the world, or as I call it, extortionists of the world. They want, like, for my credit, okay, to buy my credit to make it eligible for an award. I went in there to buy, I'm eligible for the Worked All States Award. So I went in there. It cost me $190 to buy my credits. I almost had, do you guys notice this? I don't open right. I had a mini stroke. Okay. I had a mini stroke. I couldn't believe it, dude. I'm like, it was bad. Okay. Oh, a mini stroke. All this for a piece of paper. I don't have any walls anyway.
Yeah, that's as bad as going to the dentist or something.
190. I'm like $190. I can buy 12 Bofangs for John. I mean, I'm not, that's just crazy. That's highway robbery. I was pissed. I'm like, you know what? Oh my God. ARRL. That's an ARRL thing. I've already given them like $50 a year to be a member of ARRL, and then they want to charge me to get awards. I'm giving you $50. Okay, there's my rant for the night. I'm done. Anybody else have anything on that? Go ahead and rant away.
I'm not the only one that takes a web browser and puts 50 quadrillion tabs on it.
Yeah, I'm very bad about that.
I am too.
But you want to know the worst part? I've got the same thing on the other 3 screens. There's another window there with 25,000 tabs too. Yeah, I'm really bad about having way too many tabs open up there. Anyway.
The computer doesn't just run out of memory and just go belly up.
Yeah, and you know, Chrome, and I use Opera. Opera is basically works just like Chrome. It's made just like Chrome, but it's open source. It's not Google.
Yeah. I use Brave much of the time.
Use what?
Brave. BRAVE.
I've seen that one. Haven't used it.
Yeah, it's a really good browser. It's based on the same code. It's on the same Chromium code base.
That's what I like about Opera. You know, you go to Opera, and I go in there and type Chrome extension 4 and whatever I want. And then when it comes up, I install that Chrome extension right into Opera.
Yeah.
It installs right into it with nothing. And I like that.
Opera's changed, and it's really a better browser.
Yeah, Opera was just as crappy as the rest of them for a while, but they've really stepped up lately. I was a Firefox guy for a while. And I was a Chrome guy for a while, but Chrome just, man, they watch everything you do, and it's just so proprietary.
Yeah, it's a hog. It's a memory hog, and it's also a spy. It's also spyware.
Yeah, it is. It is. And they all have something, but Opera's not near as bad on the spyware. If you guys are having your computers bogging down, try to do the same thing with a different browser. I bet you'll find it. I'm telling you, if you're using Chrome or Internet Explorer, they're bad with memory. Try Opera or Brave. That's a good one.
It's a lot better than Chrome.
Yeah. There's just, and even Firefox.
Oh yeah.
We see you. Anyway, yeah. All right. Anything else on that? If not, what's next? All right. We're getting there. How was this tonight, guys? Was there any constructive input? Was this good tonight? Did we do all right? All right. I'm hoping this is going to be we're going to try to do this. I'm trying to get more people on board to work with me to do this format, and of course Joseph's going to do a bunch of them with me. and we're going to hopefully get a few more people on board. But this is kind of the format we're wanting to do every week. You know, have a different thing to learn about. And then I will tell you guys, after we get another 3 or 4 months in, I will probably start recycling. Because there's no way that I can have fresh content 52 times a year.
Well, when you recycle, then you can come back and say, hey, this is what we've done since the last time.
Exactly. It basically, we update and bring everybody up to speed, and yeah, do the kind of like that. Yeah. So we're gonna be doing some of that too. And then of course we'll do whole new shows on new stuff that comes out and stuff too. But it's going to be impossible to do brand new stuff every single night going forward indefinitely. But the neat thing about this, if you guys have never used Google Slides, I want to show you guys Google Slides. Oh my God, what an amazing resource. You know, some people say, well, I'm not good with computers or whatever. If you are even halfway decent with like a regular browser or something, you can build things with this. Your slides are over here on the left, real simple. All I do is I go to a web browser. I go to Slides Go. I'm going to show you guys my secrets. This is me. I make something really, really cool, and then I show people how easy it was, and then they think I wasn't as smart as I really was. But I'm going to show you guys my secrets because I just like to do that. It's called Slides Go. It's free. You can also pay for more expensive ones, but it's called Slides Go. You go to Slides Go, and you just pick a template. I always type in space or technology. That gets me in the right ballpark. And then I go down. You guys notice that looks familiar from a couple weeks ago? You'll probably see a lot of ours in here. Let's say I want to use this one, okay? I click that, and it shows me, and now I can go through and see what all the different slides look like. And this one's actually not bad. I could use this one. And if I decide, okay, I want to use this one, actually, I think I did use this one about 8 weeks ago. If I decide I want to use this one, all I do is click the Google Slides button. This is how easy it is. I'm 2 clicks in so far, and I've already got my entire click. 3 clicks in. Okay. And I've already got my entire template laid down, ready to go. You don't have to build slideshows from scratch. Now, I've got my entire slideshow it's all loading in now. Because I'm using Google Slides, this already saved into my Google account. And all I got to do now is go up here and rename it. See up here, I go up and click that and just rename it whatever I want to name the slideshow. And normally I would put the title and the date for the week. Then I come down and I simply just use this like a browser now. And I go in here and I change the name to whatever name we want for whatever show I'm doing. And I simply go through and make this out. If I want, okay, I'm going to do a list, so I want to use this, all I would do is right click, duplicate slide, drag the slide up to the next position that I want to use, go there, change it, make the title whatever I want, type it in there, change this. Now, where do I get my content? I don't write this stuff from scratch. I mean, I do type some of it, but most of it I copy and paste. I'll go to the tutorial page for FT8 and I'll just copy out from the tutorial page. I'll copy it over and I'll bring over okay, so now I need a graphic. So to get a graphic, I want to find a moving graphic. So I go into Google Photos, and I go into Google Images, and I type whatever it is I'm looking for. Let's say I want to get an image of a solar storm. Now, I go in here, and let's say I want it to be a moving picture of a solar storm. So I go Tools. I go Type, GIF. Now it's only going to show me moving images. Now I find the image I want. There's a cool image of an explosion on the sun. Now, I want that in my slide. So I grab it, drag it up to my slide, drag it that. Oh, that's the wrong slideshow. I drag it into this slide. I drop it. Now, in just a second, I'm going to have my moving image. Now, all I do is move it up to the corner, and there I make my slide. Oh, but I want the background to match. Right click, change background, change it to the color I want. Let's change it to black so it'll match. Now, look, it's seamless. Now, when we view this, we can view present. It's a seamless slide. I'm telling you guys, with just a couple days of teaching yourself how to use this, you could be making money with this thing. I mean, it's money. Google Slides is amazing. It works just like PowerPoint. I used to use PowerPoint. That's why I'm very fast and good with this, because it works very similar to PowerPoint. Whatever you want to do, it's all right here. You go to a website, you copy. If I want this information right here, I simply go to the website, copy it, come back here, go to here wherever I want it, and right click, paste without formatting, and it puts it right in there with no formatting. It's that simple. You want to know something else that's really cool? Let's say I want this slide. I can literally take this slide from this slideshow, copy it, go to this slideshow, and paste it in. And then it's going to ask me, do you want to use the, oh, it didn't copy it for some reason. Right click, copy. And then I go over here and paste. And notice it brings over, it doesn't bring over the formatting from the other slideshow. It actually brings over just the information and puts it in the formatting for the new slideshow. Is that really cool or what? So you can see any slides I made last week, if I'm going to use them again this week, I just go copy and paste them in. Isn't that cool? It's really a neat program. And I can click this here and it will match all the styles and everything right there. And then I can just start moving things around. Like this piece here, I can take that piece. Let's say I want to change the color of that to blue. I can go up here, pick a nice gradient for that. Let's make it blue. Actually, hold on. Okay, select it all again. And then I go up here to the line color, make the line color whatever I want. Let's say I want the line color now to be purple. So now it's a purple graphic. So whatever I want to change, it's just a matter of just changing it. If I want this line to be a different color, I can change it. I can do some really cool stuff. So you can actually save graphics and use them again. But what's really cool is at the bottom of each slideshow, Slides Go actually gives you spare parts. They actually have spare parts down here that you can use called alternative resources that you could actually go down and grab. These are really cool too. You could actually grab any of these little parts. What is this thing doing? Come on, you piece of crap. You can actually grab the part that you want like that, copy, and then go back up to the slide you want to paste it in and paste. And there, now there's my element, and then I can make it whatever, I can make it whatever size I want. I can select it again, select the whole thing.
And you can add people and they can edit it too.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Him and I both have editing. So he's actually in here with me. He can actually, well, not this one because I just made this one, but I can send a link to all of us and we can all work on this together. Him and I actually work on the same slide at the same time sometimes. We use this same thing for the call screen at the radio station. My remote host will have a call screen. It's just a Google Doc. And on all the computers, we all have the same Google Doc. So when my call screeners type in the name of the call, the name of the caller, and then the town, it's typing right on my screen and right on the host screen so he can see it. It's all in real time. You can do the same thing with Google Sheets. You can do the same thing with anything that's Google. It all has what they call collaborative function, which means you can actually go in and use it with other people at the same time in real time. I can go in and actually select this whole picture, or I can just select one circle out of the picture and change that to a different color. It's amazing. It's amazing how customizable it is and how quick it is to customize it. I can take this whole thing and add a shadow to it by just going up here and hitting formatting options. And now over here on the right, I can drop a shadow. And I can pick what color I want that shadow to be. Let's say I want the shadow behind this thing to be white. And I want to have a blur radius. And I want it to have some distance. Now when I get out, there, you can see the shadow it just put behind it. And if I copy that element and paste it again, it will carry all those new things with it. It's an amazing program. It really is. I have to say, as much as, Google has its good and its bad, it's really cool how you can do this. And so if you guys want to work with us to build these shows, I build the slideshow as we go. And I'll make it pretty and do all the bull crap. All you gotta do is just help me build it, But you don't have to know how to do it at all. I'll build the whole thing if you want. But I'm just showing you guys how easy it is. Anyway, it's cool. It's cool stuff. I don't mind. Some people say, why would you show somebody how you do something? Well, that's part of what this net does. I show you guys how I do everything. All right. Anything else on Google Slides that I can show you guys? This is our one from earlier tonight. We had about 75 slides, I think, tonight.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Yep. But you can see here, see that little graphic there? All that is just this little thing that I found online, and then I just stuck it over the words. It's nothing fancy. It's just this little thing I found online. If we don't want to put it over the words, we could put it down here, and then we could stretch it out and make it bigger.
You never lack the stuff for filler.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, you could do, and then whenever you get done, if it's not what you want, you just hit undo and you're back to where you started. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like these pictures, I just drug these in. These are just, found them online, drug them in. I clicked the reflection to give me a reflection underneath them, make it look like they're sitting on a table.
Altair 8800, I remember that.
Yeah, 5 bonus points if you can tell me what kind of computer that is on the lower right.
That's something from Star Trek, isn't it?
Oh, he wins. He wins. That's the
It has
computer from the original series Star
It's
Trek.
got that 90s sci-fi prop look to it.
Yeah, well, it's more of a 60s sci-fi prop look to it. Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah,
60s.
but that is actually the little computer. They made about 10 of those that they used in the show, and that's one of them there with the lights blinking and the little.
What does each light do?
Who
No
knows?
labels, just blinking lights.
There was never labels on anything. It was all just
Buttons.
blinking lights. Yeah. You know what's great about those old sci-fi shows from the 70s and from the 60s? I love like Battlestar Galactica and Space 1999 and all these old shows. They're great, right? Because back then they didn't know what a computer was going to look like. It's true. Think about it. Back then, a computer was a room full of walls that have blinking lights.
Yep.
And like Battlestar Galactica, they go into the computer core in the middle of the Battlestar. What is it? It's a wall of blinking lights. You go into the computer core, it's always the same thing. In Star Trek, every time Kirk had to defeat a computer, it was a big white box with blinking colored lights on it. And he outsmarted it with its brain, and the magic smoke came out in every episode.
This sentence is false.
Well,
Yes.
I can tell you, when I was in the Air Force, I worked in a room with a computer that looked kind of like that. It had two big consoles with lights on it.
There you go.
Of course, most of the computer, that was it had discrete transistors and like 32K of memory. And this thing took up this whole huge building. It was gigantic.
And
Was
what they
that-
realized, just like with the computing part in the back, they realized we cannot have a separate thing that does each physical thing that has to happen. The same thing happened in the front of the computer too. They realized we can't have a button that represents every function that this thing does. We can't. We have to have some kind of interface that allows you to select multiple buttons. And that's where we ended up with a keyboard and a screen and a mouse. But it's just it's amazing stuff how all that I don't know. My first computer, I was 15 years old. It was a Commodore 64.
Oh, I used to.
I loved my Commodore 64. The 64 stood for 64 carats of onboard memory.
Yeah, 64K. That's all.
Yep, 64K.
Now you can have a Raspberry Pi 400, which looks kind of like it, but has a whole lot more power.
Yeah. That Commodore 64 did nothing back then. I mean, it was amazing what it didn't do back then. And of course, my first computer, when I first got it, all I could do was type in a few lines of programming and figure out how to make it like make a blinking light or something. And then I realized soon on I had to have a way to save my work. So I bought the tape drive unit that went with it. And you actually put a cassette tape in it and it would record wee 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 on the tape. And then when you turned it back on next time, you would play the tape back into the computer so that it could remember the program that you typed last time.
Yeah, and it'd take a while to do that.
Yes, and it did. And it literally it put all the letters on the screen and then you would hit go again, basically.
And that's when a floppy drive was a rich man's toy.
Yep. Yeah, I can still remember the floppy drive was the 1701 was the number on it. Had the green light and the red light. And the red light was that it was reading the disc and the green light was the power light. And you put the disc in and then there was a thing you would twist 90 degrees to lock it in place. And then and it would read. You could have up to 2 disk drives on the system. The first one was designated (8), and the second one was designated (9). If you had a second one, do you remember that? And then the printer was (1). I had what was it, an 801 dot matrix printer? I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, this is going back.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. I had the whole system. I finally had the whole Commodore system at one time. And then I went into my next one or whatever, but.
Yeah, I nearly had all that, and then I acquired an IBM PC, which had 2 floppy drives.
Right. Yes, the next one I used after that was the Model 2E, the Apple Model 2 Echo. In fact, was the only Apple I ever actually used with any regularity.
Yeah.
I learned early on that I didn't like Apple.
Oh, I don't like Apple either.
Yeah. There was something about how it sucked. And then eventually, I think the biggest problem I had with Apple was the coin slot on the side.
The what? Yeah, you gotta pay for everything?
You shouldn't have to feed money into something to make it work.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it, man. I got a rant here because I tried to make an app a while ago. I got an iPhone 8 here as my main phone. And I wanted to make an app using the augmented reality features. It was like a point cloud scanner. It was pretty cool. They want $100 for an Apple developer certificate. They want you to pay like $500 a year or some insanely high amount of money to even be able to upload the app for testing on your own device. Otherwise, you have to trick the software and it still gets deleted after a week of being on your phone. So that poor me, man. I wanted to make an app. No, you got to pay. Hand us the cash if you want to even start trying it, you know?
Wow,
So they're fair. And you know what they did? I just saw an article that that Tim Cook made, all right? It basically says side loading is not, he says, like, I believe side loading is not in the interest of the user, in the best interest of the user. Like, side loading is where you upload an app of your own choice, not using the App Store onto your phone. He's like, oh, y'all want side loading? Well, you don't really want side loading. Yes, we do.
We pay thousands of dollars for these super expensive devices, and we're not even allowed to do what we want with them.
Problem is, you're a bunch of control freaks.
Exactly.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. They're control freaks, and Windows is the same way with their updates.
Yeah.
You know, I have a damn in my computer. What I have to do is and I haven't put this in my other 3 yet because they can't update right now anyway. But I have a thing that goes in every 15 minutes. It goes in the Windows software distribution folder and deletes everything out of it. And so it's constantly trying to upload updates, and as soon as it gets one uploaded, it gets deleted. And it keeps, and I've got every single thing clamped down as low as it'll go. I've got every connection metered. I've got every connection turned down to the lowest bit per possible for the highest amount of time. I've got everything turned as low as it'll go, and then every 15 minutes it cleans the folder out. It cannot update.
On the Windows updating system.
And let me tell you,
prepare to update the updater.
That's right. And I bought this laptop almost 2 years ago, and I'm still running the original version of Windows that came in the laptop with no updates.
Yeah.
And I'm running this net on it right now, and it works great. I have no problems. Now, if I'm going to the black webs and I'm doing that kind of stuff, and I'm you know, going to porno sites and I'm looking up all this illegal crap, probably a really good idea.
Hold the speaker to your radio.
It's probably a really good idea, you know, to keep that stuff updated. Yeah. But I don't do any illegal crap on my computer. I don't mean to sound like some kind of two shoes, but I really don't. I mean, I don't even go to torrents and download movies or anything.
If you want to do that crap, do it on a Linux virtual machine.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, if you're going to do something, don't do it on your regular computer anyway. But the point is, you know, I don't need all these updates from Windows. What I need is the system that when I got it worked great. And we just had a situation at work where a Windows update came through. All of our computers at work, I don't know where I'm hearing that from. I'm hearing a radio.
Oh, that's me. Why are you hearing that?
I don't know. It's pretty loud.
Do you still hear it?
Taking over.
We had a Windows update. We have our professional computers at work. They're all professional, the Windows Professional. Yeah. They have the updates turned off in the H key machine settings. They have it turned off. Yeah. Windows forced an update past that a month ago. Yeah. And it took four of our radio stations off the air before we could figure out what was going on. Yeah. So,
Did you hear what happened to the Cox radio stations?
Yeah, they got hacked. They're trying to say it's not a hack, but we all know it's a hack.
Yeah.
So any bets on whether this system's going to make tropical storm status before it makes landfall?
Probably not.
No.
They're still calling for it to make storm status, but look at that dry air that's being ingested in there.
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either. All that orange is dry air. Yeah. That's all dry air. Your center of circulation is right off the coast. It's right here.
Yeah. Well, once it gets on land, it's all over.
Yeah, it's over anyway. So, yeah. But they are still calling for a minimal tropical storm. This is why I canceled my thing earlier, because I'm like, nobody's going to care about this. And I'm not going to waste my time and my computer doing this all night if nobody's going to tune into it. Yeah. I only want to do it if it's going to be helpful.
You got a real storm. You know?
Both helpful for people out there and helpful for us on the back end.
This is not even an overgrown thunderstorm.
Yeah, literally. You guys know about Mike's weather page. If I can make a recommendation tonight of a website, it's Mike's weather page. This is my favorite site when it comes to weather. I don't go to the National Hurricane Center. I don't go to the Wink TV. I don't go to all these other sites, Fox Hurricane. I don't go to any of that. I go here because Mike links me back to all those same places. It's not like Mike's doing his own thing and he's ignoring the weather service. Mike it's one place to find every single thing you want in one place. That's what Mike's is. And if you want something, If you want this map, you click on it, it brings it up. When you're done looking at it, you just click the back button, or you delete it. It brings up a new page each time. Brings up a new page. I look at it, I see what I want to see, and I just X out of it, and I'm back where I started. I like the way he's got it set up. I like the way it works. And if you notice, this second column right here is always active storms. So when you go in here, it's spaghettimodels.com is how you find the website. Spaghettimodels.com. Spaghettimodels.com. Spelled just like the food. And it's named after the slang name they have for the
Oh, yeah.
and,
Something is so stupidly wrong with this. It's playing into Zoom, even though Zoom has my headset microphone selected as input. It's getting audio from other inputs that are not selected.
Wait, Windows is sending audio where it doesn't belong? No, that's never happened before. No.
That's
Hey,
the
you.
weirdest.
I'm being a smart ass, of course. That happens all the time. My Windows, man, it's like if one of my screens shuts off, all my screens forget what they were doing, and all my sound devices forget what they were doing, and I have to start resetting things again. I'm like, come on. Bill Gates, you suck.
Hey,
Right. Yeah.
Apple sucks too.
What's up, Leo?
I had an Apple machine and it ran out of. They wouldn't update the operating system anymore. So you know what I did with it? Instead of getting rid of it, I just put Linux on it.
There you go.
Which distro did you put? Pop OS or Ubuntu? What'd you put?
This was Ubuntu.
Ah.
But I've got another box. I've got Peppermint OS on it, and so I'm familiar with quite a few of them.
Huh. Give Pop OS a try.
Yeah, Pop OS is the one that's System 76, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's doing PSK on 3.3 megahertz. That's cool. Oh, Leo. Sorry, Leo wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, Leo, go ahead.
Oh, no, Mike's weather page. Every day at 09, 18, or 19, he actually goes live and does a weather report. It's usually like an hour and a half long. He's on YouTube and Facebook. And he also records it, and you can sit there and he'll go over all those things with you. And you know how you were talking earlier, you want to do that thing on and show the weather and stuff?
Yeah.
Email him, because he'll link you into his page if you link him into your page. Back and forth. He's real good about that.
Yeah, I've emailed him back and forth about something else a couple of years ago, and he's a real nice guy. He's found a way, I think, to monetize this to the point that this is kind of what he's doing now. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he goes. He does his little live thing every day, Monday through Friday. I sit there at work and listen to him. But he's the one. What was the storm that hit Punta Gorda when everybody was saying it was hitting Tampa?
That was Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah, he said from the beginning, Fort Myers, and I've been watching him ever since.
Yeah, this is what his show looks like here. That's him down in the corner down there. But what he's doing there is he's showing you some runs. He's showing you there is a high pressure system sitting to the right of Florida that's bringing that fetch around. But yeah, he's like I said, he's not a meteorologist, but I like it because he dives deeper. You're not going to find this information just out on the open internet unless you go to somebody like him. He likes to deep dive this stuff and actually go in. He likes to go to Windy and take each model and actually run each model and go over what each model does, which I think that's great. If you guys, the other website would be windy.com. Windy.com is an amazing website. It shows you, gives you television quality graphics. I mean, look at this. I could do a show.
Well, is that live, Ian?
Yes.
Well, see, it should be named because that storm, if you look, it's closed. See the rotation of the wind?
It is showing it closed. Let's see if that's actually live right there. Well, yeah, but that's,
Well, they may name it by 11 o'clock. It's 10 to 11. You could check the Hurricane Center and see if they've actually named it.
Yeah, the next update will be in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll be surprised if it's not
comes,
named by then.
They've
comes out a
already-
couple minutes early. Let me see here.
It's 3.
Where's the public advisory? Oh, remember it's Central Time, so this is the 11. It's come out. Potential. Nope, it's still being listed as a potential tropical cyclone as of 10 p.m. Central Time, which is now. So that just came out. So they have not upgraded it, and it's just about to come on land. So, yeah, I would put it down in the 5 or 10 percentile at this point.
Yeah, I seriously doubt that it will ever get tropical storm intensity in.
Yeah, I doubt it as well. Oh well, yeah, and you know what killed this one was all that dry air. I mean, if you look at it, that is an amazing amount of dry air that's being sucked into this thing.
I don't know if it might have gotten a little bit of Saharan dust too.
Yeah, I don't know why it won't let me scroll down. I don't. What is this freaking thing doing? There we go. Yeah, it shows the center of circulation like way over here under this dry air.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, you've got an offset storm with all that dry air. You've got nothing to work with.
Yeah, nothing really going to go on there.
So, yeah, I think that's a done deal. Yeah, that's all right. There'll be plenty more.
Yeah, I guess if we have a storm, what we could do is do a Zoom session here and become the hurricane committee and decide what we're going to forecast it's going to do.
There you go. I'll tell you what, we could vote on it and probably be more accurate than they are.
Probably.
Oh, goodness. I just want to know why they always say doctors are practicing, but meteorologists aren't. I think they're practicing too. Trust me. Matt Devitt, you guys know who Matt Devitt is, right?
Oh, yeah.
What a great guy. I just absolutely love seeing him every day. He comes in and we talk weather. He loves talking weather, which is kind of unusual for a weather guy. But anyway, it's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hang around, guys. You don't have to leave right in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'm going to go ahead and end the YouTube session for tonight. It's been great. It's been a great session tonight, and I hope everybody enjoyed it, and catch us next week. We're going to be doing geosynchronous satellites and FL Digi. So be here, SWFL Tech.net. KO4 EFS signing off.